What's up, everyone, guys? Welcome to Newbie Tuesday. I have with me the awesome Vanilla Mooses. If you remember our high set ganking, Mooses was there teaching me how to play. And today I'm actually going to teach Mooses something. We're going to be doing interdictors, guys. Mooses already told me earlier today that he has never flown an interdictor, and so hopefully I can share with him a few tips and tricks.
Excellent. How y'all doing? What's up, Laz? How are you today?
Good, man. I really appreciate you coming on since Pork Butt decided to skimp out on me.
Dude, he'll do that. You gotta watch out for him.
That's what happens. Positions to power. They decided that they didn't want to do something, so they just disappear.
Oh yeah, I mean, the higher you rise in the chain of command, the least likely you are to be online.
Exactly. So, guys, if you're looking at my screen right now, I'm currently in a Saber. It is the Mimitar Interdictor. I will be showing you guys a little bit with it, and just a little bit different variations of this fit. So to start things off, guys, basically an interdictor is the ship that you'll see a lot of times in 0-0 bubbling the gate. This is the bubbling ship that is able to drop a bubble and then micro warp drive away from that bubble. The heavy interdictor is attached to its bubble and the bubble moves with it. So it's super important to remember that a dictor is basically a space coffin. Anytime you drop a bubble on top of enemy fleet, you're most likely going to get insta-volleyed. So I'm just going to show you guys a few things with this. Today's video is going to be more, or stream rather, going to be more geared towards gate camping and smaller scale PvP with the dictor. So Mooses, Mooses, you get any questions to start off with?
Not right off the top of my head. I was just looking over the skill plans and all the necessary gear, and found the fit on the wiki, so that seems relatively straightforward.
Yeah, the Saber is the best of the interdictors to do the solo gate camping with, because of its slot layout, which I'm going to go ahead and open that up right now.
So would you say it's probably not generally worth it to even bother with the other racial interdictors?
The Heretic is pretty good. The Flycatcher is actually really good for solo PvP when it comes to killing frigates. But for small gang warfare and gate camping and stuff like that, I would always use the Saber, because of the reason I'm going to tell you right now. You have good DPS with the autocannons, and I actually messed up my fit a little bit on this one. These should be 200mm autocannons. These are 150s, the one separate below it, but you want to go 200mm autocannons, cloak, and then a probe launcher, or not probe, a sphere launcher, which is your bubbles. And it has a three bubbles per launcher. A lot of times before they changed to a bubble launcher only held a single bubble, and you would have to hit like 2 of them on your ship, so you can just drop repeat bubbles. And what makes the Saber so strong compared to the other interdictors is its mid slots. You can fit a medium shield extender as well as a scram web and MWD, which is really important when you're trying to camp a gate and to catch ships coming through it. Is you need that scram and web to catch those guys trying to burn back to it. And I'll show you some examples of that today with Mooses. He's going to be my bait today.
Excellent.
Yes. Rather, not really my bait, I guess my guinea pig. I haven't actually, like, I used to do a lot of small scale PvP and gate camping, and I was really good with the Saber, and I'm hoping I can kind of hone or dredge up some of those old skills and not completely embarrass myself today. But guys, if you guys in chat, welcome to the stream, welcome to Newbie Tuesday. If you have any questions, drop them into chat, and we will just jump right into it, guys. All right. Sorry, Moose. I'm just scrolling through chat, make sure I'm not missing anything.
Oh, no problem. Sorry about that. My internet decided just to lag out on me for a second there. I was just looking over the fit and purchasing stacks of everything, so after I learn from you, I can start fielding these myself. This sounds good.
Yeah, exactly. Guys, so with this fit, like I said, it is a little bit off. And what I would change, let me see if there's actually some on the market here. Like I said, guys, I'm going to change to 200mm autocannons if there's any here. There's R.
There should be. We've been trying to, we've been doing our best to try to actually get the 3T7 market up to snuff.
Oh, there's no named shield extenders here, so the fit doesn't work. All right, guys. So the change that I was talking about, guys, from the 150s to the 200s is you want to go with the 200s for the higher damage, but then you need to downgrade the medium shield extender to a named extender to the best name, which is the F-S Regolith shield extender, and you need that for CPU constraints. Hey, Randus, what's up, buddy, man?
Got it.
But basically everything here is going to be meta module. You have a Tech 2 nanofiber, Tech 1 sphere, named cloak, and then Tech 2 guns. And then for damage rigs, we have projectile collision, which is a damage % increase, and then projectile burst, which is a rate of fire increase. Yeah, so
excellent. This almost makes sense to me.
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. And what we'll do is here in a little bit, after we do a little more talking about the different uses of dictors, is we'll undock and I'll have you use that covops I told you to bring, and we'll just show you some things of what you can do with dictors.
Excellent. Yep, I got a few Helioses standing by.
Awesome. I won't kill you, but I will shoot you a little bit.
Ah, they're cheap. You can shoot them all you want.
Yeah. What targets can a solo Saber take on? Well, Maythorn, a solo Saber can basically fight any cruiser right now. You might have some issues with anything that's kiting, because you will have, well, if you know how to slingshot, you won't have any issues catching up to those, because you'll have to pull them away and slingshot back into them. But with the amount of DPS you have, you're able to quickly deal with any type of interceptors. You can kill assault frigates. You might have a little bit tough time with them, depending on what type of assault frigate it is. But the Saber for the longest time has been a killing machine. And
the autocannons track relatively well to handle those kind of things, I'd imagine.
Yeah, and when you get Scram and Web as well, so you can get a Scram and Web, which is going to lower their ability to get high transversal and for full damage. So, guys, one of the important things to do is with the close range ammo on the autocannons, for a lot of the uses of the Saber, you aren't going to need the long range ammo. You should always bring the long range ammo, which is the barrage, but typically you're just going to load with either EMP, phase plasma, or fusion. And those are the 3 close range ammo types that you really always want to carry. And the reason for that is the strongest the strongest argument for projectile weapons is the fact that you can change ammo types. And each ammo type, like the EMP, is EM damage mainly, which I believe it's EM thermal. I gotta look. It's EM explosive with a little bit kinetic. So that's a really good mix there. And then the phase plasma is, I believe, thermal explosive. Like, don't quote me on that. I know it's thermal. Thermal is the primary damage, and then fusion is primary damage is explosive. So that is the biggest argument for artillery and autocannons ever, period. All the other races are typically locked into a singular damage type, and that makes it really easy for a hostile fleet to tank against what you're bringing. So if you're flying in railguns, then the hostile is going to tank for kinetic thermal, and that's bad.
Got it.
All right, so any questions about the Saber and the fit right now, Mrs.?
So when it comes to the sphere launcher itself, by firing that's going to drop the interdiction sphere just right on me at 0, right? Right. And it's not attached to my ship like the heavy interdictor, am I correct there?
Correct. Absolutely correct.
So I've noticed in fleets sometimes I'll see dictors with the 3 bubbles kind of stagger them in order to catch things that are cloaked and likely moving away. So that makes sense now. Right.
Yeah. You don't ever want to rapid fire them and where they're dropping right on top of each other. But if you drop one and then fly to the edge and drop another one, and then you can sometimes save the last one just in case you need it, or you can drop the third one if you're like if a hostile fleet is aligning away from you and the FC's yelling at you to keep bubbling, then you want to make sure you spread out those bubbles. That way you can keep a bubble on them at all times, because the reload cycle is pretty long once you use the 3 charges. It's a 1 minute reload time. You see here on stream, it says reload time 60 seconds. 1 minute, guys. 1 minute for the reload of those 3
Excellent. And there's no restrictions placed on you after firing a bubble, correct? I mean, beyond being unable to warp if you're inside the bubble, there's no
Right. No penalty. Not like the heavy
Okay,
interdictor where you launch your bubble and then your mass is slow. Like you gain a massive amount of debuffs for launching that bubble. So literally you drop the bubble and you either burn to the edge and warp away, or if you aren't locked yet by the hostiles that you're close to, you can cloak, you can MWD and then cloak as soon as you hit the MWD, and that way you can kind of hope to avoid some of that damage.
give you at least some chance of staying alive.
And speaking of which, I'm looking at my guns right now. My guns are actually very badly spread out. Guys, for heat reasons, typically I want to spread my guns to the first 3 slots and the last 3 slots, since I'm using 6 guns. And if you're not going to be gate camping and doing solo camping and stuff like that, you can drop the cloak for a 7th gun for more DPS. But the cloak is really handy, and I'll show you why it's handy later today for the stream.
How much total DPS are you putting out in this fit right now? Like overheated?
240 without heat.
Okay, so 15% more overheated.
Right. And that's with the wrong guns. Like I should have 200 going right now, but I need a named shield extender to fit that.
While you're talking, I'll see if I can scare one up for you.
Yeah, I don't have EFT open. I would, but I'd tell you the DPS. It's quite a bit of DPS for a destroyer. And like I said, you have choosable damage types, which is the big thing. Alright, so guys, so like I was saying, the strongest suit for the Saber is the fact that you have the 4 mid slots. You're able to get a medium shield extender on, as well as your scram and web. And the biggest importance of that is being able to scram and web targets that you tackle on a gate before they can burn back and jump back through. So that's the only thing that's going to be able to help you secure kills, is getting that quick web and scram on them, which you do take a slight penalty to lock time with the cloak here. What you see, the sensor recalibration time. You do take a nerf there after activating the cloak. So it's a pretty big deal there. But like I said, the benefits of the cloak outweigh the downsides, and we'll show you that. All right, so I think we're gonna go ahead and jump into some of the uses of interdictors, and not just the Saber, is like every interdictor, like in fleets, fleet combat. So if you have any questions for me, go ahead and ask them now, Moose. If not, we're gonna skip ahead to the next topic.
No, actually, pretty straightforward. I think I'm feeling comfortable.
All right, I'm just gonna answer a quick question from chat. Blackjack SAO, do you have to lock something to drop a bubble with a launcher? The answer to that, Black, is no, you do not. You do not have to lock anything to drop a bubble. That is true with the interdictor and the heavy interdictor. However, the heavy interdictor does have the focus point. You do have to lock a target to use the focus point on the heavy interdictor. All right, and Maythorn, the rigs that I'm using, 1 second. The rigs that I'm using are the projectile collision accelerator and the projectile burst aerator. Actually, give me 1 second. I'll just post my fit into chat. Let me get that for you. And I'm not going to show you my actual fit. I'm going to show you the fit the way it should be.
Oh, and Laz, it looks like I have some of those medium shield extenders for you, thanks to a friendly Karma Fleet player. Thank you, Samuel X.
Awesome. I just need one, please.
You got it. Coming up.
Alright guys, so the reason we're using this module here is because it does have lower fitting requirements. 26 CPU, 26 power grid, compared to, where is the variations? There it is. Compared to 35 and 30. So you're saving a lot of fitting space here. And once I get this fitted up, I will show you how tight it is.
Yeah, I'm looking over the numbers right now on Pyfa, and that is a damn tight fit.
Yeah, it's really CPU restrictive, which is why there's so much meta on it. I know this is Newbie Tuesday, but this is a little bit of a skill intensive fit. So this is something to aim for. If you like solo PvP and you like to be able to go and camp gates by yourself, this is a pretty good ship to be able to do that in.
So we're assuming CPU management 5, weapon upgrade 5.
Yep, exactly.
That's exactly what I thought, right? Maybe even a weapon upgrade implant. They're cheap and would help if you're still hurting a little.
Yep, so with everything fit, I have 3 CPU left.
Whew, yeah.
And that's and I've got pretty decent skills, just saying.
Not bad, not bad.
All right, so we're up to 252 DPS with the 200. So we gained 12 DPS from that. So we're probably with heat. What? That's 280 DPS ish.
Yeah, about 285.
Yeah, 285 DPS, guys, which is not anything to scuff off at for a destroyer fighting frigates. All right, so guys, some of the different things you can do with a dictor is, besides bubbling and helping your fleet, which, by the way, I'm going to go ahead and say this now. If you are a new dictor pilot, do not drop a bubble unless you hear the FC screaming at you to bubble. Like, literally, that one frigate that warps into your fleet that you see land next to you, don't bubble it. You will end up bubbling your entire fleet for one frigate, and your FC will get really mad and shoot you, and he'll order the fleet to shoot you. And then you won't get reimbursed.
I have seen that happen live a few times, actually.
I have done it many times because, like you're about to have the perfect warp in on this hostile fleet, and you're going to get so many kills. And as an FC, it's like the best feeling ever, knowing that you have these fuckers, these motherfuckers, just in right where you want them, and you're about to right click and hit fleet warp to the probe result, and then a friendly dictor bubbles you, and bubbles you for a single freaking frigate. Or a single right. Whatever.
For a goddamn Imicus coming through the gate with a Sino fit.
Yeah, even if it's like a completely Dead Space Proteus decked out, I don't care. Don't bubble it. We want the fleet. We want to kill the fleet. We don't want to kill this little dude on the gate. And if you ever been on my fleets when Dictor bubbles instead of or like bubbles when he's not supposed to, I will rage the fuck out. Like, literally, like, fucking the Hulk, completely green, like, rage that fucking deprive me of killing a fleet, and you will feel my wrath.
I can actually confirm this. I was around when that happened once in Fountain with you, and it was hysterical. I mean, it's like, Laz, you normally sound so nice. What's wrong?
Yeah, like literally all the the Matani and everyone, like Cyan, Kumumito calls me. Everyone calls me Nice Guy Laz, but then and then whenever like I get into FC mode, I become a complete different person. Like I think there's recordings floating around of me just completely going apeshit on people. Actually, there was a fight in Fountain where people weren't focusing fire, and I told, like, I just started yelling. I was like, why? I just came back from FCing, guys. I literally came all the way from Declan tonight just to fucking lead this fleet, and you guys are shooting the wrong fucking primaries, and you just guys, we're not fucking killing anything because you stupid fucks can't focus fire. And I don't know why I need to treat you like little baby bitches, is the exact phrase I used. And like the next day, V listened to recording, and he just started using you saw it in all the channels in from Mr. V, little baby bitches. And I was like, great.
That is going in my bio tonight, Les.
Yeah. It's on YouTube. I'll have to find the recording. It was
I just found a new ship name for now and then too. Laz's little baby bitch, or LBB.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, dude, I'm Nice Guy Last author still. Channel set to adult. Oh. I think this channel is already set to adult. Well, at least it should be, because I use quite a few swear words. Alright, so enough about my drift down memory lane, more about interdictors. So guys, like I said, don't bubble when you're not supposed to. And I'm actually, hopefully by next week, the interdictor video that I'm making, which is a video about probing interdictors, should be done and published. It would have been out this week, but I had this epiphany and a great idea or I'm going to change some of the stuff the way the video is, which required me to order a new webcam, which, by the way, I don't know if you guys can tell, I have a new webcam now, and a lavalier mic, so we're going to be working on that later this week. But
Yeah, it's looking good.
For fleet combat, guys, fleet combat, this is also in the video I'm making. If you're doing fleet combat and you're a fleet interdictor, basically everything that's in this fit is completely changing. Oh god, yeah. So all this, this is not a fleet fit. This is not a fleet fit at all. You will never use this in an actual fleet. I will show you, which I also included in my video, the best interdictor for fleets. The very best interdictor for fleet combat is the Heretic.
So Saber, Solo, Heretic, Fleet. I'm writing that down.
And I wasn't going to show this tonight because it's in my video, but I will go ahead and bring it up the screen so you guys can see just what the Heretic fit looks like.
What's the huge advantage of a Heretic in a fleet situation over the Saber? Just survivability, or?
Let me get this on screen and I will tell you.
Excellent. Like I was telling you earlier when we were chatting before the show, I'm only 18 hours away from being able to fly these myself, so this is quite educational for me.
All right, guys, can you see this okay? Can you guys see the text? I don't know if you guys...
it's looking good.
All right.
The text is a little... No, it's not bad. Looks fine.
Okay. All right, so basically, guys, this is a fleet Heretic. You one bubble launcher, one cloak, one set of probes. And then you get the buffer from the two shield extenders and MWD. And then you have a EM hardener to help give you a little bit more tank. Basically, the only goal for this thing is to be able to bubble hostile fleets. And the reason the Heretic is the best is because you're able to fit the double shield extenders on it, and you're able to fit the cloak and everything else with it. Because all the other dictors have a lot of CPU issues, which is, if you notice on this fit, you have four CPU modules. 4 CPU modules to give me enough CPU to fit all of this. That is the small processor overclocking unit, and then the 3 coprocessor Tech 2s. And the reason the Heretic is also the very best interdictor for fleet combat is because it's the cheapest. And these things will die by the 1,000. So cheap is good. When you're doing fleet combat, cheap is good when it comes to interdictors.
Yes, so buy them in packs of 20.
Exactly. Which I've lost my chat, so give me one second.
Oh yeah, no problem. Just while you're doing that, just as kind of a dumb offside question, let's say I'm one of those people who's really concerned or cares about showing up on Z-kill. If I was using that Heretic without weapons, I launch a probe and affect a target with the bubble. Am I on the kill mail? Even without shooting the target?
I'm actually not sure if they changed it, but before that target had to actually warp inside the bubble. That target had to initiate warp inside the bubble for you to appear in the kill mail. I don't know if they've changed it, but I do know that's the way it was before.
Okay, that's something I'll definitely look up.
All right, guys, I just got my chat back. I got my chat back now. And the first thing says Osh Fokker. I mean, I fly my Saber to fight in it, not just to be like I tackled something. Yes, that's true. But in fleet fights, whenever you warp your dictor into a hostile fleet to get a bubble, you're going to be the first person dead. Yeah, you can. There is enough room to fit a Horgun on this, Osh, so you can fit a Horgun and try to Horon kill mails that way. But for fleet combat, guys, your goal is to get tackle. Which, like, if you notice, you see the probes on here. You see the probes on this dictor. The video that I'm coming out with is going to explain completely everything you need to know about the probing dictor stuff. It's not going to show you how to probe. I'm going to make a new video for how to probe. But this current video coming out is going to be why probing dictors are so good and how to effectively use them. So all you guys looking for how to help the FC, I would say the #1 way to help the FC is to bring a probing interdictor.
Yeah, and probing's something that I mean anyone can pick up in a few days.
Yeah, combat probing right now is super easy if they're on the same grid.
Oh, I remember just reading an article about how hard probing used to be, and I was
Yeah.
looking at some YouTube videos of the old interface, and it looks like they've really improved that.
Well, that's when I first learned to probe. That's when I was FCing back then. And yeah, hey, us, the video will be on the TMC website and it'll also be on the TMC YouTube. And like I said, it probably won't be until the beginning of next week when it's up there because I was almost done with it. And then I had this great idea to kind of swap it around and do some different things with the video. So I'm kind of starting from scratch. But like I said, early next week it should be up for the probing interdictor video. And just to, while we're talking about probing interdictors, even though I didn't want to kind of talk about this without the video being out, but basically probing interdictors, the most effective thing they're best at is keeping people out of fights. Right now in EVE Online, a lot of people will go to perches before they warp onto a grid. They'll warp to a spot 300 kilometers away from the fight, and then wait for a good warp, and then they'll pounce on top of the fleet they're trying to fight. But with a probing interdictor, what you can do is if the FC needs some extra time before that fleet gets into the engagement, or if, say, your fleet is engaging a hostile fleet, and then their backup arrives at that tactical 300 kilometers away, and then so basically you want to keep that fleet out of the fight as long as possible while you duke out with the fleet you're currently fighting. So you tell your probing interdictors to go ahead and probe and warp and tackle those guys at their tactical. So you sit there and bubble them at their tactical so they can't warp down and help their friends. And also what you can do with that is you can use that dictor that you're sitting at a tactical 300 kilometers off the fight yourself. You can warp to your fleet and put a bubble up between the fight and the hostiles that are at the tactical, and that would create a screen as well. That is typically safer than warping in and bubbling them at tactical, but it's really more about what the FC needs you to do at that point. Depending on what the hostile fleet is, if the hostile fleet is in nothing slow-ass battleships, you can warp on top of them at 0, drop your 3 bubbles, NWD away, and try to warp because they have a slower lock time. It just depends on what support ships they have.
That sounds like a bit of a heart racing sort of moment there.
Oh, the videos I have a few videos of me using a dictor. Like literally, I went out with a dictor in a fight where I had no friendlies, so it was literally me and my little dictor in a 600 person fight, and I was the only person on my side there. So I warped in to bubble these people, and like every single side started targeting me. I was like, great, this was such a bad idea. But there hasn't been enough big fights going on in EVE for me to get the footage that I really need for it. So I heard about this fight, so I was like, you know what? Fuck it, I'm going, and maybe I can get some video of it. Which I did get a little bit of video of it. I was able to bubble half the fleet of a certain group that was going to go save their capitals, and me bubbling half their fleet kept them off the field longer, which means those capitals didn't have that subcap support against the hostiles.
Excellent. Oh, here's a question I was going to ask, but I forgot to. Let's say I'm in that fleet heretic fit, and my FC orders me to, like you were just mentioning, delay a fleet. I end up doing a warp to them. I drop a bubble, and I'm just insta-targeted and blapped. When I die, does my bubble still stay for the normal duration, or does it instantly disappear?
No, bubbles pertain after death. They're not like bombs, where if the bomber dies, then the bomb dissipates. I think that's right, dissipates. English is not very good.
Depreciates? I don't even
know.
No,
I think it's dissipate.
I think so. Yeah, depreciate would be lower in value.
All of you native English speakers, let me know if I'm right or not. I speak American, I don't speak English, sorry.
There you go. There you go. So, as someone who does a lot of high-sex suicide ganking, this is already exciting because it feels like you can get some glorious suicide moments that really help your fleet in this sort of fit. Oh, wow.
Dissipates is the word, apparently.
Dissipates. Yeah, there we go.
I'm from Georgia. I'm allowed to say things bad. I'm getting Skype messages about it, too. God damn it. Oh!
Why you know English, Laz?
I need to, my push to talk button is my back button. So anytime I go, like anytime I'm talking and I put the and I have my mouse over my chat screen to talk, I keep fucking hitting the back button and losing chat.
That's super effective.
So if you hear me, you're like completely rage out and just quit. The stream. If you just hear the stream shut down, it's because I'm sick and tired of this back button. Actually, do I have my command channel? I don't have my command channel keys set up, or else I just whisper to you.
I was about to say mine are set up properly, so but that doesn't really help us right now.
In my mind, I think that's a good idea. Why is your game launcher all blue? It changed this morning, Flinksy.
Yeah, the font is like they should have gone with Comic Sans. It would have been a step up.
All right. So before I interrupt you with my back button hitting, what were you saying about the excited about Fleet Heretic and how as a Soya ganker?
Yeah, I was saying that just as a suicide ganker and used to exploding gloriously as targets explode around me, I was saying this sounds like fun and would give you a lot of opportunity to pull off some real fast heroics before dying gloriously, and I like that.
Yeah, it's a really important role, and we like if you've been in any of the larger fights in like the past year or two, which a lot of you new players wouldn't have been there, but people recognize the good dictor pilots. The people that always fly dictors and they're really good at dictors, people know your name, and I think that's a pretty big deal. Like there's a guy in AMOC actually, my corp, his name is Cratisto. He's always flying a Heretic or a Saber, and so he's always in a dictor in these fleets. And everyone knows that when Cratisto warps into bubble, it's going to be a good bubble, and that means you need to get ready to follow up and kill whatever he's tackling. So it's if you guys want to be the hero, I mean, fly a dictor, get a good bubble, and people will shower you with ISK. Jimmy, typical goon, been in fleet for an hour, still hasn't undocked. It's true. It's true.
Don't worry. Vanilla Mooses will be getting shot at soon.
Yeah. For small gang PvP, guys, like I said, the Saber's good. If you're going to be doing solo anti-frigate PvP, like where you're going to be roaming around in 0-0 and everything like that, I would recommend using a flycatcher or a Heretic, I think. If you're going to be focused on nothing but anti-frig and think you're going to be fighting against actual more than one frig at once, I would go with a Heretic or a flycatcher because it has a lot of damage potential and kiting capabilities with the missiles.
Excellent. The whole time you've been doing this, I've been purchasing stacks of ships and mods from Jita. I'm really excited.
Oh, well, I think you're really going to appreciate what I'm going to show you here in a little bit. Actually, you can show this right now. Let me undock.
I'll undock with you.
All right, so just chill in the undock, and let's play this scenario out. How often do you fly around with a Saber in 0-0? Not Saber, sorry, a Covops.
Relatively often. I do a lot of up here in the Pentagoon and the North Declan area. I get called on a lot just to, probe people down, find people's lost drones or MTUs, and then I do occasional, site scanning for folks. I'm in a covert ops pretty often. I'm pretty comfortable with them. All
right. When you jump through a gate in your covert ops, and you're going to warp to the next gate, like you jump through the gate's clear, and you're going to warp to the next gate. What do you do when you warp to the next gate?
The first thing I do is, I obviously jump, I come in, I still have the default cloak. I immediately slap a line to the gate, and the moment I see the animation of my ship decloaking, I hit cloak again, and then I warp.
Okay. All right, so what I'm going to do here is you're going to do it just like you normally would.
Got it.
And I haven't done this in a long time, so it might fail horribly, but we'll see.
I am ready.
All right, so just chill on the station for a second. Oh, I'm super nervous. My heart's pumping because I don't want to fuck this up and stream in front of all of you guys because
Oh, that's okay. We're goons. They expect it.
I used to be so good at this. Like, literally, I've killed so many ships with this. Like, the week before I joined Goons, we killed, like, 2,000 plus people, like, in a week. With just, like, camping gates. On the pipe towards GSF space.
So it looks like you're pushing to the gate, the other side gate at 0, which is pretty much where you want to be sitting, right?
Yep.
Now, what's the range on that bubble?
The range on the bubble is 20 kilometers.
Okay, and when I jump through a gate, I'm going to appear somewhere randomly in a 15-kilometer radius, so that works out perfect.
Yep. So basically, as you can see here on the screen, guys, warp disruption range is 20 kilometers. So anything within 20 kilometers, you have a bubble on it. So, as you guys can see on stream, I'm sitting above the gate cloaked. I am within jump range of the gate. That way, if a hostile fleet comes through, anything like that, and I need to bug out, I can decloak, immediately jump through, and then exit.
Oh, now that introduces another question I have. If you launch a bubble and another ship is affected by the bubble, does that introduce a weapons or aggression timer preventing you from jumping?
No, you can still jump. That's
nice.
Yes, it's a pretty big deal. Like, you can bubble and jump through, and you're good, as long as you don't have weapons aggressions.
Right, as long as you don't fire or activate a hostile module on a target or rep someone or anything.
Yep. All right, give me
Not
one
like
second.
you'd be repping anyone in a dictor anyway.
Sorry about that. Just getting my roommate to shut the door. He's getting ready for work, I think. He's being loud. So I don't know if you guys can actually pick up him like the running water stuff in the bathroom.
No, your mic's sounding pretty good, and my loud cat has decided to be really quiet through this whole stream, which is amazing. Like, any listeners who had me as their FC during Burnhamar learned about the legendary Moose's loud cat.
All right. So you see me on stream. You see how I'm positioned?
Yep, I see.
Right. You see it. You see that I'm cloaked.
Yep, I see you cloaked. I see you holding. Looks like you're within 2,500 of the gate there.
Yep, I'm 2,400 off the gate, so that I can immediately jump. Jump range is 2,500, guys. For those you don't know, and if I get closer than 2K to the gate, I will get decloaked. So, guys, I'm sitting between 2K and 2,500, so I can immediately bug out if I need to. And what Moses is going to do for me now is he's going to warp to MZ1E. And he's going to jump through.
Got it. I am in warp.
And so what's going to happen is when he jumps through, he's going to see that the gate is clear. Oh, god damn it. Don't jump through yet, by the way.
Got it. Holding.
There's a friendly gang that just came through, so.
Oh, yeah, there's a bunch more dropping on. Yeah, you got some more coming through.
Yep, we're going to wait for them.
Damn Karma Fleet.
I'm showing my love and support in local with lots of hearts. And let's see if any of them know about the Zor chain. There we go.
You're clear on my side.
All right, so I'm gonna have to have a good discussion with Pork Butt. There is a severe lack of Zor chaining whenever I type Z in local.
Oh man, as a Karma Fleet director myself, I'm disappointed. I will make sure to send out multiple rage pings
Please do.
to my members later.
Vaughn, my stream viewers are comedians. they think it's a very, very hilarious thing to, instead of, hey, let's give Laz money to buy cool ships to fly and lose on stream, let's give him an 8 billion-isk bounty. So that's yeah. But
yeah. Your viewers did similar to my ganking alt last time. I ended up pushing my bounty up to about 2.5 billion. So thanks,
nice.
guys.
But it's not, you can't actually claim the bounty anymore. You only get like a percentage of the ship worth. So, all right, guys.
Yeah,
there's one person here on the gate with me. Grar.
I'll tell him he's about to get bubbled.
Yeah. All right. Shit, I got Toronto Blue overview. All right. So you're okay to come in.
Okay, I am activating the gate right now. And I'm taking a look around me.
Yep.
Okay, I don't see any hostiles, so at this point I would assume everything's safe.
Right.
So I'm going to go ahead and continue on my route.
Yep, go ahead and decloak and continue on your route.
Here goes.
My bubble didn't go off. What the fuck?
I made it!
Yeah. Alright, so I completely failed that. But
just barely, though. I saw the probe right as I made it off grid.
Yeah, the problem with my push to talk is if you use mouse 5 as a push to talk and you press buttons at the same time, the module doesn't activate.
We can give it another shot.
Yeah. Yes, come back through. Actually, I'll jump through the other side.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
I'll come back to the gate and sit on it at 0.
Yeah, that was a fail. Guys, it's been a while. It's been a while. But basically, guys, what we're doing is what this is called a delayed bubble. And with me sitting cloaked on gate is I will, as soon as he decloaks, I decloak and drop a bubble, and I will burn towards him.
Okay, give me a second to MWD through that existing bubble. Because that did catch me.
Yeah. If you warp to a gate where there's already a bubble before you enter, before you initiate warp, then you will get caught in the bubble. So let me.
Okay, I'm holding until you're set up. No, and that's a big thing that I've seen happen. As long as you initiate warp before the bubble goes up, you're immune.
Right. Which is why one of the biggest counter to bombers is, as an FC, you have an interdictor warp before the fleet warps. And that way you warp an interdictor, and then as soon as the interdictor warps, you go ahead and warp the fleet to the same spot, because the fleet will be slowed down by the biggest ship's warp speed. So the interdictor will always arrive there first, and you can bubble, and your fleet will land inside the bubble that's already there, and you won't get bombed.
Ah, that makes sense.
Yep. All right, come on through and see if I can not fail at this.
All right. I am activating the gate now.
Yeah. I'm very, very rusty, so we'll see.
Well, and also you're having me with evasive maneuvering 5 and an agility set in, so
It shouldn't matter. I should be able to catch you 100% of the time. Decloaking is another story. I should be able to at least stop your warp.
All right, I am ready to go ahead and try to get away from you.
Go for it.
Going for it, going for it. Here we go.
You actually landed outside of my range.
Figures. I'll jump back through and get... nope, you got me.
Yep, so guys, I bounced off the gate, so I got unlucky there with his positioning. But I'm going to try and correct and go down towards him.
And I am trying to get out. I'm almost out. Oh, shit. Second bubble.
Yeah, so that is the benefit of having multiple bubbles.
I am not letting you decloak me. I see what you're up to. This is going to be close. You got so close just a second ago. You have no idea.
Yeah. That's the problem with it, is you have to be on the right side of the gate, and typically you want to set yourself on the top or bottom, because there's a small chance of them being on the opposite side of the gate of you, but it happens.
I'm trying to get out of the bubble at the same time. I'm trying to keep you at range, and this is a very, very tricky maneuver. So far, so good. Oh, damn it.
Yeah, so typically people will go for the closest exit. So a lot of times if I'm trying to get out of a bubble, if it's not like super close to me, I will actually take the long route.
I'm almost out, but I think you're gonna catch me in just a second.
You're in the center of the bubble.
You got me.
You're yeah, you're nowhere near the edge of the bubble.
Well, I was going for the edge, but I was also noticing the arcs you were taking and keeping over 2,000 from you, trying to flirt with both at the same time. Let's see if I can get out before you do much damage.
I'm not gonna shoot you. I need to practice my delay bubbling. But
let's give it another shot then.
Well, that's you basically get the gist of it though. Basically,
yeah.
You wait because most cloaking pilots and frigate pilots, if they don't see anyone on the gate, whenever they jump through, they'll just warp through or warp away haphazardly. Sometimes not even cloaking. Sometimes they will actually literally just click warp, and then you don't even have to worry about decloaking.
And for catching a cloaky ship like my Helios in that situation, I would just watch for a hostile to blink on my overview quickly and then disappear, and that's when I know it's time to launch my bubble.
Right. So as soon as you see that, what you do is you'll want to bring an alt or have another character on the other side of the gate. That way you know what's coming through to you. Typically, if you're like, this is a really good gate camping ship.
Great. So like a cloaky friend with eyes on the other side would be invaluable.
Cloaking friend, a second account with a one-day-old alt would like in a rookie ship would work. Just so that you know what's coming to you. So that way, if you know it's a Cove Ops, you can literally, if you know a Cove Ops coming to you, you can go ahead and prep yourself mentally for what you need to do. It's the best way to be able to get it done right, because literally it's just a sequence of actions. It's like an MMO like WoW or something like that, where you have a certain set of rotations to do optimal amount of damage. It's the same thing for this dictor. You decloak, double click towards their ship. You do not want to approach their ship. You want to double click right next to their ship. That way,
because the second they cloak, your ship will stop because there's no longer anything valid to be approaching.
Yep. So you want to double click next to their ship, and that way you start burning towards it. And also, once they notice that they're caught and cloak and they try to cloak, you want to hit the plus sign down here on your capacitor so that you make sure it stays at max speed in case you accidentally did a double click on the target itself, which will cause the ship to approach.
Got it.
Yep. But I've
already filled half a page of notes off this.
Yeah. Well, like you said, Mooses, if you are approaching the target and they cloak, your speed will drop down to 0 unless you start hammering the max speed button. So it's really important, if you do get the delayed bubble, to hit the max speed button. And most of the time, like I said, since you were cloaked on the gate, they will not be NWD cloaking, which means they're going to be super easy to decloak.
Right, I didn't do the MWD cloak trick because I thought that would end up kind of working against me on this occasion.
Well, that MWD cloak trick is the best cloak trick in the game when it comes to getting away from gate camps. Like whenever you used to go roaming in a vagabond, you filled the utility high slot with a cloak, and you'd go around with 2 to 3 friends and vagabonds. And anytime you ran into a giant gate camp, you could, because the vagabond's so fast back then, you could MWD cloak. And the velocity from the MWD cycle will carry you out of the bubble, and then you can immediately warp off as soon as you're out of the bubble.
So that's just jump through, pulse the MWD, immediately hit the cloak.
Right. Your Randus, go to planet 7. If you want to go to planet 7 as well, Vanilla.
Got it.
Actually, go at 0, Randus.
Guys, stay at some range so I don't get in the way.
Anyone in chat have questions about the MWD cloak delayed bubbles trick that I'm trying to show and failing at? Yeah, well, that is true. There's a fucking... What the fuck is there? Oh, we're on the same grid as the station. Ha! Ha! I've got the wrong overview.
That's what I was wondering too. I'm like, what the hell?
All right, so once this isn't the right. We don't want to do it on this planet because we don't want to drag bubble someone. which drag bubbling, by the way, guys. Here, let's do this. So from the station, guys, we're going to warp to one of the gates, and we're going to actually create a drag bubble and probably get someone killed. Rip. So, guys, we're going to go ahead and warp to the gate at 70 here, coming from the station direction.
Again, that's the MZ gate, correct?
Yep, MZ1E. We're warping to MZ1E from the station. So, guys, if you're here, don't warp to that gate. And we're warping to it at 70. And what this is as a dictor pilot, you can literally, if you get in front of a hostile fleet, you can stop them. Or if your fleet is running away, you can literally set up a drag here. So we're 70k away from the gate in line with the station. So we drop a bubble here. And then that means because this bubble is intersecting their warp to, the fleet warping from the station, or anyone warping from the station, will get stuck on this bubble 70 kilometers away from the gate. And the important part about this being 70 kilometers away from the gate is they're midway between the gate and being able to warp directly to the gate. Like you don't want to do really 100k because then if you do 100 kilometers and they're closer, they can burn 50 kilometers and then warp to the gate at 0. But 70k, they're right in the middle, and so it's 70 kilometers either way.
I'm going to test that from the station now and see if it catches me.
Yep, go for it.
I'll do it uncloaked. That way you can actually see me.
Yep, and I actually just call it Uranus as well. Yep, guys, so you see, well, we were talking about the interdictors and Hictors. The devoter here that Uranus is flying is a heavy interdictor. And Uranus, don't put your bubble up yet, but once vanilla lands, we'll put the bubble up. You can see my ship is moving freely. My ship is moving freely around the grid without having to be attached to my bubble. The Hictor is the opposite. The bubble is part of the ship.
Oh, it got me.
Awesome. So guys, see, there is Vanilla Moose. I don't have all my brackets turned on so you can see him warp in. But he warped from the station and he's stuck on the edge of the bubble. Stuck on the edge of the bubble here. And if a hostile fleet was chasing your fleet, you could have dropped this pull bubble. And it would have caused him to get stuck.
And it looks like that heavy interdictor just put out another bubble, so I would be beyond screwed at this point.
Yep. Heavy interdictor is actually a really, really interesting ship. I know
the
this
bubble's
is just
a different color. I noticed that.
well, that's that way you can distinguish between heavy interdictor and regular interdictor. You see
okay.
blue and red, blue for regular interdictor, red for heavy. I'm kind of conflicted with what I'm about to say because before the warp changes, I would say, like, if the warp changes weren't to come in and bombers going to be still super strong, I would say keep your skills for the heavy interdictor extremely low. Because I think, let me find, yeah. So it's the heavy interdictor cruiser bonus. You want to keep that at level 1. That is if there was no warp changes, because the reason for that being is at level 1 you have an extremely small heavy interdictor bubble that is only a 30-second timer. And
okay, that makes sense.
And do you understand why I'm saying that though?
No, not 100%, but I mean I hear the tactics of what you're saying, but explain more, please.
Okay. All right. Sorry, someone told me to read local. All right. So the reason that is for fleet fights and anti-bombers. The small bubble will cause the bombers, when they fleet warp to bomb your fleet, to get dragged into that tiny bubble, which means they're going to be right on top of your fleet and can get murdered immediately.
Oh, that makes perfect sense.
So the more you level up the heavy interdictor, the bigger the bubble is, and the heavy interdictor bubble is actually giant at like max level, and which means if you as an FC warp to a grid, you warp to a grid and you put a heavy dictor, like a max level heavy dictor bubble on, then those bombers can literally warp to your fleet, land on the edge, and be in perfect bombing range. So they can launch their bombs and then turn around, burn out the bubble, and warp away. So that's why, as an FC, guys, if you're ever FCing and you're trying to avoid bombers, don't use a heavy interdictor unless you know for a fact that their bubble is low level, or their heavy interdictor is low level.
That makes perfect sense. I see. This actually makes me see how This makes me see how a regular interdictor and a heavy interdictor could play together very nicely in a fleet.
And as you see the drag bubble, we put 70k in front of the gate. We could do the same thing behind the gate. You can drop a bubble 70 kilometers behind the gate, and instead of landing on the gate at 0, they'll literally get pulled past the gate and into that bubble.
Got it.
Yeah, it's dictors are really, really good things. Are really, really complex ships that if you're a good pilot, you can really do a lot of work with them.
I will definitely be losing a few in about, let's see, 16 hours left on training.
Yeah, definitely. It's completely worth it. Unless you're doing low-sec PvP, the Eris, the Galente one, is garbage. Unless you want a balls-out blaster DPS ship for low-sec PvP, don't go for the Eris. Literally
now, in
every
low
single one.
sec, why would one even fly one? Because I'm correct, right? There's no use of bubbles in low at all.
Right, but what you do is you fit it without a bubble launcher, and you would go for like max DPS for anti-frigates.
Right, and you're just taking advantage of the Tech 2 resists on it at that point.
Like the Heretic and Flycatcher are really good for anti-frigate PvP. At least, well, they were really good for anti-frigate PvP until tactical destroyers came out, and ever since tactical destroyers came out, you don't really see them anymore.
Yeah, tactical destroyers have definitely changed the meta quite a lot, I've noticed.
One of the things we haven't brought up yet, guys, is the dictors. They do have a second type of ammunition, which I don't remember the actual name for it. I think it's focused.
Oh, that's the what do they call it? The infinite point or something?
No, well, this is the focused warp disruption script is for the infinite point, but there is a smaller bubble. Which, hold on, I can just show it here. A surgical warp disrupt probe is what it's called, and a surgical warp disrupt probe is like the heavy interdictor, like I was talking about. We can have a small bubble to help pull in people. This surgical warp disrupt probe is a 10-kilometer bubble instead of a 20-kilometer bubble.
But aside from that, it acts identical to the standard 20-kilometer bubble.
Yep. 180-second is the timer for it to dissipate.
Do those get used very much?
No. Nope.
I didn't think so.
Hardly ever. I've never seen one used on a fleet fight.
Now, in the regular interdictor, can I also use the focus warp disruption script?
You cannot. That is a heavy interdictor only module. It's
right.
It's like your tracking disruptors and your sensor boosters and stuff like that. The scripts goes inside the bubble module that goes on a heavy interdictor.
Okay, and that is for tackling things that can't normally be tackled, like supers.
I'm being told that Reavers use surgicals right now, so apparently Reavers, they do get used. I just asked them why they use them.
They don't exist anyway.
Actually. I'm gonna see if the my will come in and talk about it.
Excellent. I swear, you got me actually really excited to lose a few of these tonight.
They're really, really fun. And honestly, if you guys have any questions about dictors and fits and how to use them, I haven't, like I said, I haven't done much PvP in them and since I joined Goons, actually. Like, before I joined Goons, I was an amazing solo PvPer with N00, like with interdictors and frigates and stuff like that. But then I joined Goons and started FCing all the time, and I lost my ability to fly my ships.
So my takeaway from this is I can go ahead and put in 4 in the morning Skype video calls to Laz to learn how to Saber, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Dude, you kidding me? The past couple nights, I think I've slept like 1 or 2 hours. I couldn't sleep 2 nights ago, so is when I had the bright idea to hey, let's completely change this dictor video I'm making, and so I woke up. I was awake at like 3 or 4 a.m. because I couldn't sleep and just completely changing all the shit I've already done, spent hours doing on this video, and then I ended up ordering a brand new webcam and a lavalier mic for my sound recorder. Which is right here with the mic. Which,
yeah, it's sounding really good.
Well, this is my Blue Yeti. It's not the actual lavalier mic is for my Zoom H4 and sound recorder, and it's because this new video I'm making is going to have me actually on camera. It's unlike my other how-to videos where it's just the video and me talking behind it.
Nice.
Wait, are you like the Matani that like fucked everyone over and took all your alliance's money and shit? The Matani has never robbed anyone.
The Matani is the epitome of honorable cyber Bushido.
Yeah, he's never fucked anyone over as far as I know. Question mark: do you use autocannons or artillery for Minmatar? I've seen some artillery saber fits, but for the way that I fly and most people fly, you'll want to go autocannons. Pretty much autocannon all the time for this.
And that's for the enhanced tracking.
Yeah, Spaz the Matani is the leader. It's our pegging joke here. Yes.
That's pretty good. Beautiful.
The Matani is the leader of the Imperium in Evil Line. I am Lazarus Telraven, one of the lead FCs for the Imperium. And my claim to fame is I killed 1 or 2 Titans and beat R5. But as you can see, the Saber bonuses, tracking speed, damage, and fall off, which means it actually would make it actually makes a really, really good artillery platform. But I would typically just recommend going with the autocannons because you do get pretty good range from it. And if you're needing artillery with it, then you're probably gonna be in low sec. And if you're in low sec, a Sveeple is going to outperform the Saber. I think probably the same cost or less.
I would say a tiny bit less, probably.
Let's see. Yeah, I think a little bit less by now. Yeah, 1 or 2 Jack, 1 or 2 Titans, man. Killed 1 or 2.
Yeah, just a couple.
Yeah. But yeah, guys, keep the questions coming, and like especially you, Moose. That's why you're here, buddy. Ask me some questions, man.
Oh yeah. I feel like I've been rapid firing them at you. I've actually taking in so much from this. Give me just a second. I'm looking over a few notes I took here and everything like that. One moment.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
so the only thing. I would say that when it comes to doing the delayed bubble with a friend on the other side and catching folks on gates, that I'd feel really confident with pretty much jumping into immediately. That doesn't seem that horrendously difficult. However, using more of a fleet setup, however, that seems a little more advanced. So it's pretty much just a matter of going where the FC tells you and dropping the bubble only when he says to do it, no matter what.
As you use it more and more, you'll kind of get a feel for when you should bubble. But if you are new to it and you don't want to lose your ship to friendly fire because you bubbled the wrong time, or I've actually gotten lenient in my old age of FCing. I haven't killed any friendly dictors lately for bubbling badly.
Okay.
Hey, huge asshole, what's up, buddy? But typically, so this is the rundown of how a fight should play out for an interdictor. Your fleet, you get fleet warped onto the grid of the fight. As soon as you land on grid, if you're not point blank on the target that you're fighting and the FC's yelling at you to bubble, then you want to immediately overload your MWD for 1 to 2 cycles and burn away from the fight. Either up, down, left, right. You want to get to a 300 kilometer perch spot, and then you want to bookmark it. And once you bookmark it, you want to start burning away and then get another 100, 200 kilometers away from that, bookmark it again. That way you have multiple perch spots. And what this does is you can use those perch spots to warp to and cloak, and you can use that to bounce around the grid if you need to get a better position for your probing and warping to bubble things.
Got it. We do similar tactics in Mini Love for getting perfect warp ins on bumped freighters and things like that, so I'm familiar with that.
Exactly. And if you don't know how to probe, or if you don't have the skills to probe, you still do the exact same thing. And the reason for this is because as a pilot, you can to make sure you have Rex on your overview as a dictor pilot, and you'll look for cargo cans or Rex. Cargo cans and Rex, or mobile tractor units, anything like that that's close to the enemy or on top of the enemy, and you can warp to those. So typically in a brawl, when ships are dying on each side, they'll all constantly have warp ins that you can warp to. They're not going to be perfect warp ins like probes would be, but you can at least get close enough to be able to overload MWDs one cycle and get a bubble down.
Got it. Right, because as long as the wrecks or the cans or anything are over 150 kilometers from me, I can warp to them as kind of a beacon.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And also with dictors being up there in those tacticals, you're also benefiting the FC, because a lot of times an FC will have to bounce off grid, and say this FC that we're not going to mention names of accidentally forgets to fleet warp his Covops. So he fleet warps it off and loses his tactical that he also forget to bookmark. That means that dictor, you as dictors would be able to offer this random newbie FC that sounds nothing like me. Get back on grid.
Right, so you have another chance to provide a kind of an emergency last-second save service for your fleet there.
Yep. All right, so I'm
now
going.
I did have one more dumb question, and I know this might sound a little newbie-ish, but this is all new to me.
Well, it's Newbie Tuesday, man.
Yeah, that's what I thought. The probes themselves, are those expended every time you fire them? So
no,
like they or do they come back to my cargo hold?
They will come back to your cargo hold when they expire. For fleet combat, I would always recommend using just the regular combat scanner probes. Don't pay extra for the sisters because you don't need them.
Oh no, I meant I'm sorry, not the scanning probes, but the spheres,
the interdiction probes. Yes, those are dead. It's like ammunition. You use it and it's gone.
Okay, how many do you recommend that in a fleet situation or just any situation? How many do you carry?
It depends on what you're going into. Like solo PvP, I will typically carry like 25 plus the 3 in the launcher. And for solo and small scale PvP. For fleet fights, I would probably carry 10 plus 3. So they're not that expensive. Like I'll look them up in the 0-0 market here. Interdiction. Oh, that's the wrong. Warp disrupt. The warp disrupt probe. All right, they're 19,000 per probe. So I mean, they're fairly inexpensive. So it doesn't matter if you lose them.
It looks like you do have a couple more. I don't want to monopolize all the questions here. It looks like you have a couple more in chat of users wanting to get some stuff from you too.
Well, we'll go through them and just make sure you save your question. We'll go through them after this.
Excellent.
Hey, Nicola, what's up, buddy? Welcome to the stream. So let's see. First question I see is, what is the worst dictor Hictor? The worst dictor is the Eris. Yeah, the Eris. I was about to say the Catalyst Tech 1, Eris Tech 2. The Eris, which is the Galente, that is the worst. That is the worst dictor. The worst Hictor. That's a tough one. The best two would be the Devoter and Onyx. The worst would probably be the Broadsword, I think.
Yeah, you don't see too many broadswords in the wild, I've noticed.
Yeah, I think the Broadsword might be the worst. The Phobos is really good because of the mid slots. You can pop in cap boosters and stuff like that. So that's where the Phobos is good. So I think the Broadsword would have to be the worst when it comes to Hictors. All right, next question. Laz, can you explain the differences between the 4 dictors? So I guess the best way to do is to kind of pop them up on screen for you.
Well, we already know from earlier that when you're doing solo work, the Saber is going to be the best. When you're doing fleet work, the Heretic's going to be the best. I do know that.
Right. Oh, and that also differs. The Saber is best for gate camping and stuff like that. If you're going to be roaming, like with links and stuff like that, and you want to say, hey, I want to go roaming in this interdictor, and see if I can fight like this group of 5 people or 6 people in frigates, then if that's the case, then the Heretic or the Flycatcher is going to be best. So for like roaming PvP where you're going to go around solo and try and engage, yeah, so roaming by yourself or you're going to try engaging outnumbered or fighting up ships, like up armored ships, like cruisers and stuff like that, I would take either Heretic or the Flycatcher. The good thing about the Heretic is you can fit your light missiles on it and be able to shoot out to like 40-45 kilometers. And with a full armament and kite fit and everything like that, you can still fit your interdiction sphere launcher, which means you still have bubbles, which is really, really good. However, the Flycatcher cannot fit a bubble launcher with its DPS fit.
These sound like they could be really fun solo flying around some of the border systems in Null, like, you know, the borders to low and borders to high, and catching some fun opportunistic kills.
Yeah, you used to see the Heretic and Flycatcher a lot in 0-0 and in low sec because they're really good for the PvP and anti-frig because the frig meta is so strong right now. But then the Tech 3 destroyers just kind of completely wiped them off the map. Tech 3 destroyers outperform these interdictors in every way, unfortunately. So Saber.
Right, even with the chain, even with some of the rebalancing they've done on those Tech 3s, they're just going to outmaneuver, out DPS now, track it every time.
All right, so the question was, can we see what is the differences in the interdictors? And we're going to start with the Eris because, like I said, the Eris is the worst. So I want to be able that way I can close it out. So the Eris, you get all the bonuses here. So you have rate of fire, optimal range, and tracking speed. This Eris right here with Tech 2 fit can do, I think, like 1,000 DPS or something stupid. Like literally this ship right here just pisses DPS. It's paper thin, but it pisses DPS.
And that's blaster fit, right?
Yeah, that's blaster fit. The problem with this ship, the number one problem with this ship is right here, which if you're looking at the stream, you'll see I'm hovering over the mid slots. It only has 2 mid slots, and that is the biggest issue with this ship. So 2 mid slots means you can fit an NWD and something else. So and like I was talking about the Saber, I don't know if you remember what I said about the Saber. Its biggest strength was it had all of the mid slots, so you could fit a extender, a NWD, a warp scrambler, and a web. That was the big benefit, was you were able to fit the warp scrambler and the web.
And then I could use that warp scrambler web when I catch someone in a bubble to immediately drop those on him and not have to worry about him getting out of range of my bubble. Right. That makes sense.
So Lane asks, level 5 interdiction skills time worthy to train or not? You only really want to train level 5 interdictor if you're going to be using them for PvP, because the level 5 interdictor is where you get the bonuses. So you get bonus to kinetic missile damage for the Flycatcher, or you have armor resist and MWD reduction signature radius, which is pretty good because MWD is what you'll have fitted all the times, and lower sig radius is king for bigger ships that lock you slower. Hey, Still Horse, how you doing, man? Then said Saber guys, fall off's bonus, so you can use your closer range ammo for farther. So I mean, it's really up to you if you want to train at level 5, depending on what you want to do with it. Level 4 is sufficient for typical fleet uses. For pretty much all fleet uses, actually. But guys, like I said, guys, Eris right here, worst interdictor, unless you're looking for just something to play around in the low sec for blaster DPS wise. All right, guys.
Right, and at that point, you're pretty much just taking advantage of your Tech 2 resists.
Exactly.
And you just want to use a tactical destroyer anyway, because it's better.
Well, what a lot of people, what some people do in low sec actually, is they fit polarized blasters on an Eris, and they just YOLO into things and just tear them apart with all the DPS from the polarized weapons. Which, for those of you who don't know,
I've done that in a Catalyst before, and it's delightful.
Yeah. Well, since you've done it before, tell us what's the benefit of the polarized weapons. What does the polarized weapons do?
So your polarized blasters are just polarized weapons in general. Basically, by fitting one or more of them to your hull, they're going to reduce all of your resistances, are going to shoot to 0. So you become the worst glass cannon ship ever. However, there's a significant boost to the damage per second. So if we're relying on blasters, which are generally, a shotgun range sort of thing anyway, and don't tend to be the most survivable ships, I can drop in at really close range, and a couple volleys of those polarized weapons are going to finish pretty much anything off, and before it can really damage me.
Awesome. Exactly. So guys, like I said, the biggest thing there is these polarized weapons. They do drop your resistances to 0. Glass tank, boys. The glass tank.
You go down fast, and I guess the prohibitive part of the polarized weapons is they're still a little expensive.
Yeah. All right, so guys, we're gonna move to the Saber, which Saber is what we're flying right now, guys. And you see, I explained the fit for those who aren't around. Like I said, guys, we're 200 millimeter autocannons. Then basically everything else is named modules, and I will show it to you on stream again. So we get collision accelerator, which is a 10% damage increase, I believe. Show you, it's a damage modifier 1.1 times, 1.1 times damage modifiers, not 10%, sorry. Then the burst rate, which is rate of fire, because we're not using a damage module, we're using a nanofiber, and the nanofiber is going to increase our agility and our max speed for helping get those decloaks. Then 200 millimeter autocannons, cloak, and then probe launcher, or a warp trap probe launcher. Then named MWD, named Scram, named Web, named MSE, and then named Internal Force Field Array. Some of these name modules, like the IFFA, are pretty expensive, like a few mil for that. So like this is a hefty ship to fly, and you do need pretty good skills for this fit that I'm using. You can
now. Here's a question for you that just came up in my head. In a fit like this, is the fitting requirement lenient enough to where I could get away? Is it worth it to maybe go with faction web point?
Yes,
like
faction.
Yeah, that's right. Like a dread greased scram, or sorry, a dread greased disruptor or whatnot.
Yeah, once you're good with the ship, and like especially if you're running links, you can do quite a bit with these interdictors with links. But that's true for most ships. Is the links really benefit with the tackle ranges and all that. But the Saber is a beast with links and faction modules.
Got it. And I have enough ISK and really decent fitting skills. So after I learn how to not die before doing anything useful, I might have to play with this.
Yep, guys. So like I said, if you're going to be camping gates, I would definitely go with the flycatcher. Oh, sorry, not flycatcher. The Saber. The flycatcher and the Heretic are kind of even. The flycatcher does a little bit more damage than the Heretic, but the Heretic is able to fit its full DPS PvP fit with a bubble launcher, whereas the flycatcher cannot fit a bubble launcher with its full DPS fit. All right, so let's see what I'm missing. Any questions? Oh, damn it! I just refreshed my screen. And I lost my chat.
Let me take a look. I don't think I'm seeing any that you've missed. Oh, let's see.
I saw one about fleet.
I'm just trying to pronounce that user's name. The NDNLY. I don't even know. They want to know what do you consider when deciding between a Hictor or dictor for fleet fight? What are the differences between them role-wise?
Apparently the stream dropped. 1 second.
It's still good here for me.
You can see me?
Yeah.
All right, it's up for me as well. All right, can you repeat the question then?
Yeah, a user wants to know what do you consider when deciding between a Hictor or a dictor in fleet PvP, and what are the differences between them role-wise?
Okay. As an FC, when I'm looking at my fleet comp, I will always want 1 to 2 heavy interdictors with my fleet. And the reason for this is because the heavy interdictors will stay with the fleet, and that way if your fleet is ever on top of a hostile fleet, you can rely on them for bubbles. And they will leave their bubbles down until the emergency. Like emergency case uses, like if the hostile fleet starts warping out, then your heavy interdictors will quickly throw up a bubble and try to catch half the fleet before it warps out. So the heavy interdictors serve a very niche role as being a heavy bubble that is there to help tackle. And also to help bubble whenever you're warping into places, so you don't have to wait for the long ass interdictor bubble.
It looks like a couple of people might have gotten a stream drop out, but we're good now.
Yeah, it's gonna be okay now. The interdictors though, interdictors you always want, probably like on a full fleet, you probably want 5 to 10 interdictors. Like they're literally, I would take out of the 20 or so like interceptors that are always joining fleet, if I would take 17 out of 20 of those interceptors, 17 of those interceptors swapping to dictors, I would take that any day over 20 interceptors. So
yeah, that makes sense. I see why.
And the interdictors are super important. Like I said, interdictors, your goal is not to be in the fight. Literally, if you are in the middle of a fight whenever your fleet warps on the grid, you're doing it wrong. Like I said, guys, you burn to a tactical point where you're sitting at range on the grid, and you can warp into Rex, or with probe results, you can warp in to be able to drop bubbles on hostile fleets to help out your team. And like I said, dictor pilots are typically, like good dictor pilots with probes and stuff like that, are some of the biggest helps in fleet fights for an FC. So if you ever want to know how to help your FC, like I said earlier, fly dictor and get good at it. All right. Do you have advice for newbies? Caster, this is Newbie Tuesday, man. If you have a question, you ask it. Even if it's not on the interdictors or anything like that, ask it. That's the biggest thing. My whole goal when I started doing Newbie Tuesdays, which I approached the TMC, themontagne.com, I was like, you know what, guys? I think if we do a newbie stream and just get a bunch of people in here and have them talk in chat, then maybe the people that are shy about talking in chat will literally come out and start talking and ask their questions. So if you guys have any questions, please ask them in chat. All right, so
yeah, I was about to say you guys who are asking questions in chat are helping me out a lot too, because this is all new information to the mooses. So keep them coming.
Oh, all right. Yes, we'll go over polarized weapons again. Apparently, that's when the stream dropped, is when you're talking about polarized weapons. We'll go over them again in a little bit, guys. All right. For someone who's still very new, actually, I just skipped a question. Sorry, Terrible, I'll get to yours in just a second. Slider, from Wiki, any suggestion on how to get better with small gang slow PvP when used to large-scale fights? Slider, get a frigate, and just like get a stack of a ton of frigates and go and lose them. The only way you're going to get better at EVE PvP is getting into different combat situations and learning how to react and getting comfortable with hotkeys. So if you aren't using hotkeys now, go ahead and program them. I actually just had to reprogram all my hotkeys, and I'm still learning how to get used to using all my hotkeys again. So basically, you have all my hotkeys are here at the bottom of my screen, and then every single hotkey, if I hold down Shift and press that hotkey again, it'll automatically overheat the module. If you're a new player and you don't have thermodynamics yet, get thermodynamics. It is probably one of the best skills in the game, period.
Oh, it's so essential.
All right. So Terrible Space Warrior says, for someone who's still very new, just about able to use a Saber, is a Thrasher cheaper way to get experience for flying the Saber, or are they completely different beasts? It depends how you want to fly them. Thrashers, I like to roll around with artillery Thrashers because alphaing ships is amazing. But all my Sabers typically fly autocannons, so it's a little bit different in that aspect. But basically, anything small and fast, like Tech 1 destroyers, or like the Tau Wars and stuff like that, will be good experience. So basically, anything small, frigates, anything like that, that's still going to be good experience. All right. Let's see.
I'm taking a look too to see if you missed anything there.
Yeah. Raft, man, we've been streaming for an hour and 30 minutes, buddy. I was worried going into this episode that we'd only have about like a 45 minutes to an hour worth of content, but you guys have been very talkative today, and I'm really, really appreciative of that, because that's what this is about. Like I said, answering questions for you guys. My screen resolution, Urandus, is 1920 by 1200.
Same I play at.
Yeah, widescreen. Which means my video recording, my resolution for Twitch is a little bit off because it's not a 16:9 ratio. All right. Raph, it'll be in the past broadcasts, and we'll also, after I get done streaming, I upload it to our video editors, and they will publish it on YouTube as well. How high in levels to go for thermal dynamics? Pale, as a new player, I would take it straight to 4. If you're a very, very, very new player, I'd take it to 3.
Right, because at your lower levels of thermodynamics, you're going to burn your modules out so quickly that it's almost prohibitive.
Yeah. It's so good that you really, really need it to tear it up. You want it 5 ASAP though. Like once you get your key skills down, you want to get that to 5. It is super, super important. Like literally, you don't understand how important it is until you start PvPing. Let's see. How about any tips on getting better with D-scan? All right, actually, I can show you some stuff. I actually was never too good at D-scan, but ever since I started PvPing low sec, I learned quite a bit. When you're trying to D-scan and you're trying to narrow down a target, you just want to be able to adjust your angles and stuff like that. Like if I want to know if there's anything at the station, I will click, I'll press C, which actually I rebounded, I think. Yeah, I did. But down here, you see this little arrow here, camera controls. Turn on your tracking camera. And then you also want center tracking position. You want to click that as well, so that whenever you click on an object, it looks straight at it. And what you can do with that is, if I wanted to see what's on the station, I click on it, my camera turn it to like a 5 works because we're looking straight at it, but typically I'll go like it's 15 or 10 angle here, and that will tell me what's on the station. And you don't have to really move, you don't really have to aim it yourself, because by clicking on it, the center tracking camera will automatically center on it, and you can just scan.
And your D-scan really is one of the most invaluable tools in EVE. Learning to use that is amazing.
Yep, and you also use D-scan like you can go to a 60-degree angle and scan a set of planets or moons and be able to help narrow down what's in scan range. But tracking camera is super imperative for quickly scanning down places for D-scan.
Another advanced trick that I use often, I guess not too advanced, but is setting custom overviews that just contains certain objects that you're wishing to scan around, and then you can tick that little box in your D-scanner that's use active overview settings, and then I can quickly, for instance, if I was high-sec ganking, I can scan every asteroid belt within range of me in just a couple seconds.
Right. Okay, let's see what other questions we got.
I think a couple people wanted a re-explanation of polarized weapons. I gave the last one, so it's your turn.
The explanation for polarized weapons?
Yeah, a couple people dropped out when I gave it the first time.
Yeah, quick, simple, and easy is lowers your resist to 0, gives you a significant DPS buff. And so basically they're gonna take your ship and turn it into a glass cannon. So ships like the Eris and the Catalyst and other high DPS ships with like blasters will be super glass cannons and will just wreck things. So it's the biggest point to remember though is it lowers your resist to 0. So it'd be very, very fragile. And actually, Namaimai, if he's still listening, he can actually link you to some fights where he actually runs around in a Imperial Navy slicer with polarized weapons and gets some really good brawls out of it. Let's see, what else we got? From your Randus, does tank differences between tanks play any real factor in their performance? Not in large fleet fights. In large fleet fights, if you warp in and bubble and their anti-support ships decide they want to kill you, you're dead. Tank-wise, the Heretic for fleet fights is going to be best because you do get the double extender and the EM resist mod or rig. But other than that, tank isn't really a thing.
But I've been taking some pretty extensive notes on this entire thing too. So if anyone wants a copy, let me know because I'm learning a bunch from this.
Good. And you'll be on the Meta Show this Saturday as well, which will be fun.
Yeah, I'm super excited about that. That'll be my first time on the show.
All right, so let's see what else we got. Raf about it says, I usually stream exploration, but since the new PC can PvP without lag, I trained interdictors, so thank you for this. Raf, no problem. If you have any questions, let me know. You can message me in game, or like I said, there'll be the recordings of this later that you can rewatch. But I can, like I said, just if you have any questions, ask me. And it's awesome to hear that you stream as well, because the more you streamers, the better. Hopefully pull more people into the community.
Excellent. Yeah, Chimmy, I'll make sure to get those notes uploaded to the forums. I'll post them later on this evening.
All right, last talk about perches and bookmarks. Chimmy, what do you want to know about perches and bookmarks? I mean, I can kind of show you how I make my perches. It's basically all my perches are between 250 and 350. You never want to be predictable. Hey, Solon, what's up, buddy, man? Best ones to make? Well, typically, if you, like, say you live, 3T7 is where you live. So if you live in 3T7, then the first thing you want to do when you move into that system, when you move into 3T7, you make 3T7 your home, is you want to go to every single gate, and you want to make bookmarks around every single gate, every single station. Or rather, the station. You can't be one in more than one. Not yet. Not until the new citadels. And what that's going to do is anytime a roaming gang or anything comes in, you'll be able to bounce around and provide intel with your ship. So you want multiple perches. You're going to want one like 200 kilometers. You'll want one at 200, 300, on top, bottom, left, right, at different various angles. You don't want to be predictable, and you want, like I said, you want to have multiple ranges around every single gate in the system you live in. And then you're also going to want, not as many, but you will want some traveling bookmarks to the systems around your home system. So you never want to be going through 0-0 in your home space and not be able to warp to a tactical or have a safe spot. And one of the good things that people don't actually know is I learned it just recently, actually, is, let's see, we'll go ahead and warp here. Warp to gate 100. Is while in warp, through a system, like if you're roaming through a system and you notice you don't have any safe spots or anything here, while in warp, just press Control B. Hit the right key. If press Control B, and they'll open up the bookmark, and you just press Submit. You can rename it and press Submit. Usually I name my safe spot just SS. SS1, SS2, SS3. So press Control B and then rename it real quick and press OK. And while you're in warp, you'll go ahead and create a safe spot, which means it's super, super quick to create those spots. And you should just do that as you're roaming through enemy space and friendly space. You won't save spots all over the place. Stoomies can acquire the tactical BM pack for Northern Deck if they are lazy. Newbies, you can acquire that bookmark pack, but I highly recommend against it. You should really make your own bookmarks. You don't ever want to share your bookmarks with anyone else. But yeah, Jimmy, like I said, multiple directions, multiple ranges. You cannot. There's no such thing as a perfect safe anymore. I think you're referring to the old deep safes. Deep safes were like 300 to 400 AU out, and the only way you could make them was by bugging out your fighters on your carriers and having them to warp off and go crazy.
Yeah, and I believe any of the existing ones of those that people still had bookmarked were deleted or moved back into the normal system bounds, so they don't even work anymore.
Yeah, I think it was both. I think some of them got deleted and some of them got just moved. Yeah, Raph, thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. I hope you're learning something. And like I said, if you have any questions, make sure you ask them. One of the biggest things that I started the stream for, which is Newbee Tuesdays every Tuesday right now. And we're kind of running out of topics. So if you guys have suggestions for topics, message the Twitch channel with suggestions for topics of classes you'd like to see for Newbee Tuesday. That way I don't have to keep trying to think of things and running dry. Because unfortunately, because I've been playing this game for like 12, 13 years now, all the stuff that you guys might think is cool and stuff you want to know is stuff that I think is just habit. So that's the hardest part for teaching a new player to play Eve, is a lot of the little things are just habit.
Right. Most of your tactics, they get to the point where they just become muscle memory, and that's when you start to get really good at it. And thank you, Raph. I definitely will probably end up hitting you up with some questions. I appreciate that.
That's a good suggestion, MZH. Using the incursion random sites to make bookmarks.
Yeah, another option that you can always do is create a bookmark between, let's say I undock from the station, I warp to a planet, I'll drop a bookmark halfway, and then I'll warp to that bookmark that I just created that's halfway between the station and the planet, and then I'll warp to something else, another planet or a station that's at super long range, and then I'll drop a bookmark there, and that gives me something that's a little more off of the normal beaten path. Can be effective.
Yeah, that's true. And like I said, you guys, if you're running from a gang, also if you don't have a bookmark in a system, you find a quick warp off point, and as you're in warp, like I said, hit Control B and make a bookmark, and then once you land at that celestial, immediately turn around and warp back to that safe spot and make another bookmark while you're in warp at the safe spot, and then you want to start rolling safes to different spots, and then like open up your overview. Like here, let me undock again. Which, guys, if you need an overview set, the overview set that I recommend is Sarah Shala overview. I think the
best overview pack in the game.
Yeah, it's managed by a good friend of mine. He's in PL. His name is Otaka Shashi or something. Where is it?
I can never pronounce it.
Yeah, Otaka Shawa. So basically, it's Sarah Shawa -overview is the channel name.
Another, really, just to throw this out here, a super fast way to get that overview pack is if you just open your mail and click on Add Mailing List, and then just type in Overview. They'll add you to a list, and the welcome message contains all the instructions.
Yeah, or you can do it inside the chat channel, where in your side chat channel it says Open Channel Window. Click this little bubble, and type in Sarah Shala S-A-R-A, like SARASHAWA -OVERVIEW, and I also typed it into to stream chat. I use these overviews on all my characters now. I make some slight changes in them to better suit me, which I actually don't think I've changed them yet on this character. Yeah, I haven't. Basically, what I'll do is where it says Dominic's and same symbol, I will change that around. I don't. As an FC, I care more about the name of the person than the ship. Like priorities go name, ship, and then, or sorry, the priorities is distance, name, then ship.
Could not agree more. When
I'm calling targets. So distance matters depending on what ship it is coming in at you. So you really need to know distance, and then name. That way you can identify the target for your broadcast. And then the ship matters because you need to know if you're going to shoot battleships or whatever. Sutonio, what's up, buddy? Sutonio, I've got a question for you about your Geddon that I'm going to get to in just a second. But by the way, guys, Sutonio here in the channel is a really, really awesome PvPer. He's a fantastic PvPer. And if you want some newbie videos to watch, go to Eve is Easy. And he has some really awesome videos there that he's helped made. And if you want, Sutonia, can you link to Eve is Easy YouTube channel for these guys?
So I've enjoyed Sutonia's videos quite a few times in the past. How you doing, Sutonia? What's up?
Yeah, he came roaming with us one night, and I think he was in like a logistics ship or no, he was in Navitas, and he was like he had like a hero warpin and like completely scared away this like 3-man gang with his warpins. Thanks, Antonia, man. By the way, so guys, if you want some more newbie knowledge, and coming from a lot of really good PvPers, go to Eve is Easy, and you will never regret it. I promise you. And if you do, then let me know, and I will slap you across the side of the head. So, like I said, guys, Sarah Shaw overview is really good, and all you do is once you join the channel is you click down the list. So you see part 1, click it, press OK, part 2, click it, press OK, and all the way down the list until you get 6, and it'll automatically set up your overviews and everything for you. I keep my overview on main, but you also have the overview here where it shows blues, and one of the most important overview settings is the warp out. The warp out setting is super good, and it's actually saved me quite a few times because you can see what's in close proximity, and as an FC, seeing a closest celestial to you so that you can easily bounce your fleet off a gate and come back without going the shortest amount of distance, it's pretty important.
And then what I think the most beautiful part about that pack is if you just right-click on any tab and look at the presets that it comes loaded with. I mean, you can adapt to any situation so quickly.
Yep, and that's super imperative as a PvPer and especially as an FC, because a lot of times with the main overviews, which is showing everything, you will need to load like a dictor only overview if you're trying to disengage, or if you are trying to kill their recons to get the sensor dampeners or long range points and attack off the field, then you can do that. Is it a setup for PvPing only? Pigface, you mean the Sarah Shell overview? No, I don't think so. Let's see, you got PvP, hostile PvP, you get travel, descan pass, line points. Yeah, so you get PvE down here at the bottom. PvE, noms, riding, mining, salvage, loot, and show drones. So you do have the PvP and the normal PvE at the bottom here that you can load. But I believe all the presets are set for. First tab actually is PvE, normal PvE for the first tab. Second tab is the PvP tab. Yeah, don't worry about the mailing list, guys. Join the channel. Like the mailing list is full apparently because people join it and get it and they don't leave. So just go, like I said, open chat window and join Sarah Schaller overview. Right there. Let me expand.
Oh, my fault for even recommending the mailing list. I didn't realize it was full.
Yeah, I didn't know it was either. I will use the channel.
Bad mooses.
Yeah. Sutonia, buddy. The question I wanted to ask you was, how do you feel about the your Armageddon buff, and then a week later, your Armageddon nerf? If you don't want to, I can further explain it. Which, by the way, the Sutonia Armageddon is a kind of a nano armor tank Geddon for solo roaming, and it's one of the few battleships that's really capable of solo roaming because it gets the long range neutralizers. It gets like 38 kilometer newts, I think. I'd have to look it up to be sure. Right, battle. This is the MOTD. So once you join the channel, you just click the links. But before you click the links, guys, you need to reset your overview to the default overview, which you go here to the tab right here next to overview, the bars, and go to open overview settings, go to miscellaneous, and then reset all overview settings before you load these settings. All right. Let's see what Sutonia says. The DDA nerf is entirely justified. I agree. No, I completely agree with that. The drones are out of control. You get the Tristans, you get the Vexor Navy issues, you get the Ishtars, you get the regular Vexors. I mean, drones are ridiculous right now.
Yeah, it's become pretty much the weapon platform.
Yeah. So Tony says the 7% DPS nerf for the DDAs is kind of compensated for the rapid heavy DPS buff of 5%. Yeah, so you're only losing 2% DPS. Yeah, well, so Tony, you can also fit the triple DDA now, since the hyperspatials don't take up CPU fitting. You can fit triple DDAs, or you can fit more tank. Alright, so let's get back to other questions. Which, guys, if anyone who don't understand anything I was just talking about with their Armageddons, let me know and I'll try to explain it more, or Sutonia can help explain it in chat. He's the pro. I'm just some talking head on the screen who's somewhat okay at this game, mediocre. Let's see.
Hey, you taught me more about dictors this evening. I'm so excited.
Good. Thanks. All right, Laz, in the light of the meta changing with regards to Fazisav, do you think a Stratop attending Goon should stick with training for cruisers, or maybe look at BCs and BSs? Chimmy, what are you trying to train for, buddy? Like, what race? What are you looking to get into? That's true, Titonia. Well, it actually kind of hurts us because right now all of our a lot of our guys make ISK using the Ishtar.
Oh yeah, I was about to say it's here in Declan. It's pretty much Ishtar's online for
Yeah.
routing. I know I field a few at a time when I get the urge to generate some cash.
Brugro, all caps right now are in a bad place. The only caps worth fielding right now are triage carriers and blap dreads versus battleships. Yeah, Chimmy, explain what carriers you're looking at. Yeah, no thanks to Tony. I think the last Armageddon I lost, I made money off of because it was so cheap, and with insurance.
Wookie Bear, how'd I lose you in Ishtar last week? What'd I do?
Yeah, no one flies Nixes really, anyways, Brukro, because they want the tank of the Aeon and Wyvern. The Nix has fallen from glory. Ah. True that. For the AFK Ishtars, you can just get 3 Dreads.
Yeah, I mean, it's just space money.
Yeah. Oh, did Chimmy leave? I mean, I'm trying to answer your question, Chimmy, and you left, or you're AFK or something. Come on, buddy.
Jimmy, talk to us.
Yeah. Well, do you have any more questions I can answer for you, Mooses? I keep wanting to call you Moses.
Yeah, you know, everyone does. That comes up so constantly. Yeah, actually, I did have one more. I was just letting some the other users get in their questions. But just moving back to the main topic, Interdictors, are there any restrictions when I fire that bubble, as in objects I can't be too close to, or counter ways that can prevent me from launching that bubble?
No, they're not like anchorable modules or smart bombs where there's a restriction.
Right, and they can't be destroyed by enemy fire at all or anything.
They can be destroyed with bombs. You can smart bomb a bubble, and you can blow up a bomb with you can blow up a bubble with a bomb.
Ah, interesting. So, like right now, at 0 meters off this station's on dock. Yep, and you just did it. You can bubble up. I get it.
So what a lot of people do is when they're engaging on a undock, like if your fleet's camped in the station, and you want to do an undock and engage the fight, is you get a bomber to bomb the undock while you click undock with your fleet, and then as your fleet is undocking, you have a bomber launch a bomb, and that way as your fleet loads, you can immediately fleet warp out away from it.
Oh, that's genius.
Mm-hmm. And it takes three large smart bomb blasts to kill a dictor bubble. 3 large smart bomb blasts to kill a dictor bubble, which is why.
So they are a little beefy.
Right. Well, on super capitals, if you're doing a drive-by with a Titan, which is a very, very bad idea. Don't ever do a drive-by with Titan unless you really want to die, or unless you're really, really professional. Most drive-by Titans will have triple smart bombs fit because of the to insta pop bubbles. All right. Let's see. Basically, I'm trying to ask you to predict when BS species are going to come back into use. Chimmy, in the Imperium, our main line doctrine right now is the Dominics. The Dominics is our main line doctrine. If we have to travel places like go through wormholes, then we use Tengus. But Dominics are our primary battleship right now. However, that could be changing with the missile buffs and the missile, like with all the missile buffs with the percentage to their damage and the HP buffs. It means firewall isn't going to be as effective, which means you could possibly see a missile doctrine coming from the Imperium in the near future. Which I might get in trouble for saying that. I might get in trouble for leaking this. So don't tell anyone, guys.
You hear that, guys? Secrets revealed only to you tonight.
Yeah, like Saturnia said, bombs are going to get a lot more complicated to use in fleet fights, so that means battleships and battlecruisers are going to be a lot stronger, because you're going to have to be able to wipe out a fleet, you're going to have to warp a Tech 3 into the center of a fleet, and then fleet warp your bombers onto that center point. And by the time that happens, there's a strong chance that there's already going to be a bubble up, which is going to suck your bombers in and lose all your bombers. Oh my god, ham tingus are so good. Ks. KLLs. Alright,
So I did have one more dictor-related question for you, too. If I was in a situation, let's say, with a fleet where, let's say I'm assisting my fleet, my FC has me warp into the hostiles just to grab a bubble on them and slow them down. If I know I'm going to die, like the enemy fleet has interceptors and other small things that have locked me, scrammed me, and are just starting to apply DPS. In the couple seconds I have, is that a good idea just to mash my launcher and just launch all my probes as quick as I can? My bubble probes, to keep them up as long as possible?
Well, where's your fleet at?
Let's say I was going with the example of with what you said earlier, where my fleet's sitting at a perch waiting to pounce on something, and then my FC orders me to jump into the enemies and delay them to prevent them from getting to us as quickly.
Yeah, in that case, if your FC needs you to slow down the enemy, and you know you can't get out anyways, just go ahead and drop all your bubbles.
Just rapid fire them. Got it.
Yeah, because a dictor will die very, very quickly to any type of anti-support. Because most fleets in the 0-0 meta right now, the anti-support you're going to be dealing with are typically going to be legions, which legions have a lot of spare mid slots where they can fit a lot of sensor boosters. So what you do is you bring a handful of beam legions or pulse legions, and then you just shred dictors and interceptors. Anything that comes within range just gets zonked instantly.
I'm used to dying instantly, so this will be familiar territory.
Yeah, a lot of times you're lucky to, like, if the best time to bubble, guys, is in the middle of a fight, because then the FC and the anti-support ships are typically shooting other stuff, so you can warp in, bubble, and then burn away, and then cloak as you're burning, if no one gets lock on you. And what you can do is, with Interdictor and cloak trick, like I said, to get away from a gate camp, you Interdictor and cloak, and it helps you drift outside the bubble so you can warp. The same thing here, and you just pray you don't get decloaked. Hey, Teddy back home, what's up, my buddy? Drake fleet. Everyone's spamming Drake fleet. Guys, I hate to break it to you and to be the bearer of bad news, but the Drake actually might be viable after these buffs. We will have to look at all the math.
Frightening.
Yeah. I miss the Drake days. We used to throw 900 Drakes into full Abaddon fleets and just get slaughtered, and we just keep bringing back more Drakes.
I missed those. I missed those days. I'd love to be a player during those times. The only meta I've heard Drake's reference to these days is just being laughed at.
All right. Any questions, guys? Any more questions? Come on.
I had one last one. I still got a few on the dictors.
You keep shooting, man. Keep going until someone else.
Yeah. Okay. Good. With the, and I suppose I could just look this up on the market quickly, but since we're here together, I can ask you, for the interdiction spheres, the probes themselves, are they just one ammo variant, or are there Tech 2 faction, Dead Space variants? Are there ways to improve?
There's two variants. There is the surgical ones, which are the 10-kilometer ones,
which is the 10K,
and then there's the 20K. There is no other ammo type.
Okay, great. So there's no way to spend a whole bunch of money to get some extra range or anything.
Yep. And what you can do is you can actually show info on the probe or on the interdiction sphere launcher and go into used with tab.
Okay, got it. And I'm just looking over all my notes here. I did have a couple more. Give me a second. You've had me writing furiously. Cool,
man. It's really good to hear. Like, whenever you told me that you don't know anything about dictors, I was super stoked that you were on here, and you actually made a lot better guess than Porkbutt, because Porkbutt does know about dictors and stuff like that.
Oh, don't tell him that. He'll yell at me.
I'm typing it in right now. Well, he has to edit the video, so he's going to see it no matter what.
Oh, shit. Sorry, Porkbutt.
Yeah.
I'm better than you.
Risen. Hic versus Dictor. What's the major difference? The major difference is the Hic is a beefy, like, giant tank of a ship with a 30-second bubble. The Hics are typically good in a small number in a fleet, like in a fleet fight. You want a couple of Hicks with you. That way, you can drop. Oh, that's a lot of fucking carriers. What the fuck? Oh, fucking Zungan. Sorry for the sidetrack, guys.
Zungan.
The Hictors you're going to keep on top of your fleet for anti-bombers and also for getting tackle when a fleet is trying to disengage. So if a fleet is trying to run away from you and warp off grid, then your heavy interdictors will overload their prop mod and get towards them and drop their bubble. Hictors cannot be repped. If you train to a Hictor, Hictors cannot receive remote support while the bubble is up. So what you want to do with the Hictor is once the FC yells for a bubble, like if he's like start panicking, like the hostiles are warping out and he needs a bubble now, like fucking now, then you put your bubble up. But as soon as that module goes green, you turn it off. Because as soon as they see that bubble go up, all guns are going to be turned onto your Hictor because that FC knows that Hictor cannot receive reps while that bubble is up. So they're going to try and kill you in that 30 seconds for that bubble to go down. So, like I said, as soon as you see that module go green, turn it off, because all you're trying to do with that Hictor bubble is to disable that fleet warp. Because the FC fleet warped, and anyone that is pre-aligned will instantly warp like that. And then anyone who is not aligned or not perfectly aligned, you have a chance to catch.
Got it. So also, as a new dictor pilot who will be done with the skill here really shortly, what would you say my best route to getting practice is? Should I focus more on fleet support, or should I focus more on, real small gang sort of stuff? What's going to get me better at it the fastest? Or are the two kind of so different that I pretty much want to do both?
They're both different, but the small scale dictor piloting is going to teach you how to zoom in and out of fights. Because that's basically the same thing. When you warp into a bubble in a fleet fight, is you're dropping your bubble, and the entire time you're thinking is, what is the fastest way I can get out of the bubble and warp off grid? So typically, when you're going to bubble in a fleet fight, you already know the celestial that's going to be closest to your alignment to get out.
Got it. So that'll get me used to just more fast maneuvers and actually surviving long enough to, drop a second one if I need or whatnot.
Mm-hmm. So you could get a 10-man gang of you and your Karma Fleet bros and go roaming in like frigs and Tech 3 destroyers and just like little like skirmish stuff. And then you can fly your dictor, and you and your dictor, which you'll be primary in the small scale fights, you're going to be primaried a lot because the dictor is pretty good for bubbles and all that sorts of shit. And it's a Tech 2 ship, so it's expensive. So they'll shoot you before they shoot the cheaper stuff.
Oh, that's fine. I'm used to exploding.
So you can use that to be able to judge range and work on your piloting skills. And Statonia, still listen, buddy. Speak up at any point in time because you are much more knowledgeable when it comes to flying your spaceships than I am.
Yeah, I was about to say he's been here for a bit, but I don't think I've heard him yet.
All right.
I did have one more for you.
Give me 1 second. I'm gonna go ahead and go back to chat, and then I'll ask one question there, and then we'll go back to you. So if you just hold that question for a second, that way everyone gets equal time.
Got it.
All right. So the question was: Are Black Phoenix going to become a thing over the Nag or Morris? Not at this time, Thomas, because right now there's an issue with explosion velocity. We'll have to see how the new missile tracking computers work and stuff like that. Let's do one more before we swap back to you, Moses. I'm just gonna start calling Moses. Fuck it. Moses.
Dude, everyone does. Don't feel bad. I will not take offense.
All right.
Usually it's only like court members that are angry at me for something when they call me Moses. Though, so it's a little. I'm almost worried now.
Yeah, Risen, I hope I answered that to your satisfaction. The Dictor is more of an expendable space coffin that you warp in and get a one-time bubble, unless you're really, really lucky or really, really good. And then Hictor is a emergency bubble that is there to soak up damage. Then let's see. Do you think CCP would ever introduce a Weber type Dictor? I think that would be a really interesting ship, Q. I think it'd be really, really cool ship. I think it could be really, really broken as well. But I think if they made it, it's like you drop the bubble and it webs for it creates a field of webbing, and let's say for 10 seconds. I think anything over 10 seconds is going to be way overpowered. But I think it could be cool. I think I definitely could see that. Once the dictor deploys his bubble, it stays there unless someone kills it with a smart bomb or bomb. Right. Chimmy, Laz, my friend who's also a goon, and I are talking, and he has a question for you. Did you pee in a bottle during BSR5? I did not pee in a bottle. I was like literally I had an hour and a half of sleep before that fight started, and I was actually like not feeling well as well. I wasn't able to sleep the night before because I didn't feel well, and then I finally fell asleep for about an hour and a half, 2 hours, and then I woke up and immediately formed a Dami fleet and jumped into BR5. We killed the TCUs, Razor, and the Russians dropped dreads on the station, and then I was there for the next 22 hours, and I was so exhausted that I was literally standing at my desk for 2 to 3 hours because I was falling asleep in my chair. So I was standing in my desk so I wouldn't fall asleep. And luckily my brother, who's also my roommate, brought me food in the middle of it, or else I would have like probably just completely collapsed. But with that much time dilation, I had plenty of time to walk to the bathroom and use the restroom and feed a bottle. Let's see. The Hictor bubble is gone the moment it dies. True. Yeah. Once the Hictor dies, the bubble dies with it. Sorry, we didn't catch it, but are drones getting a nerf? No, drones are not getting a nerf. Drone damage amplifiers, the low slot module that is like a gun damage module, is getting its damage reduced. Sorry, Mooses. I'll get you just.
Oh no, take your time, please. I'm actually learning a lot from these two as well.
Yeah, well, that's like I said. That's what I like about Newbie Tuesday is people will try to come to the channel and they think that they can only ask about the topic. But Newbie Tuesday is for anyone. If you have a question, even if it's not the topic we're talking about, ask it, because if I can't ask it, or not ask it, if I can't answer it, or the guest I have one can't answer it, or anyone in chat can't answer it, then I will do a ping to all of Imperium Jabber and I will find the answer for you. So don't be afraid, guys. The whole reason I want to do this was that so people would have other people asking questions, and they're like, "Oh, I'm not going to look dumb." And none of your questions are dumb. Like all these questions that Mooses is asking, I am more than happy to ask them. And the only way to learn is to ask these questions. Don't be afraid of asking a question.
Yeah, Laz doesn't bite unless we're in a large scale fleet, in which case he will destroy you.
Or I jump into an honor brawl where I'm already at a disadvantage and I figure out all the hostiles are actually blue and I can't target them. Oh, I was so frustrated after that. All right. Let's see. You can overheat the Hic bubble for a slower or a lower cycle time, which is really good for. I was talking about the emergency bubble where you activate the bubble and you immediately cycle it off. If you have that bubble pre-overheated, you can cut down that cycle time so you can get remote reps when they all primary you because they can't warp out. Also, Hictors are great FC ships for low SP pilots. They have a huge tank and get pretty fast and fit into most doctrines. That is a really good point. As if you fly Hictor, because if you can't fly a well tanked Tech 3, which is what I FC from, because anything else I fly will get headshot off the field. But for small scale skirmishing and stuff like that, if you fly a Hictor, you have the ability to bring a bubble with you. So you have that utility that you control yourself. So instead of begging for a dictor to drop a bubble as an FC, you have it. You just press the button and you have a bubble instantly. And like you said, these Hictors are extremely tanky. I would probably say they're tankier than some of the command ships. All right.
I use those often when I'm FCing as well, when I don't want to be headshotted.
Yeah, they are kind of pricey though. What's the price of a Hictor right now? Do you have a GDOL logged in?
Actually, I can have one logged in just about 5 seconds.
I'll just check the market here. 190 mil for broadsword, which, like I said, guys, the broadsword is the worst one. It has
Looks
a good.
Like in GDO, that'd be even more. You're looking at about 210 million in GDO for a broadsword.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so the broadsword has a good tank on it and good agility, but it's got the worst utility. The Onyx is 289 mil in Declan. So yeah, so these are pricey. Shit, that's almost the price of a fucking Tech 3. 300 mil?
Yeah, that adds up quick.
Nope. All right, so sorry guys, I'm gonna keep rapid firing through these questions, and we'll keep streaming until we run out of questions, guys. Typically the show lasts for 2 hours, but like I said, if there's questions, I'm not going to leave questions unanswered. See. How excited is everyone for the Hecate? The Hecate is going to be interesting. I'll train it and do some streaming with it. Ask Mooses about coffee. Okay, maybe in a little bit once I finish asking other questions, Eve questions. Hictors are also super important in low sec versus supers. Yes, you need Hictors, heavy interdictors. Short term is Hictors in game. Heavy interdictors in low sec to be able to tackle super capitals, since you cannot launch regular bubbles from an interdictor in low sec. You cannot use regular interdictor bubbles in low sec, so that's super important to know. Me and my buddies are brand new to Eve. If we want to do small PvP, doesn't matter what ships we fly. Should we aim for at a certain composition or fly whatever? There are 5 of you. If there's 5 of you and you want to do small scale PvP, Tech 3 destroyers are your go-to thing right now. Or you can probably get some good brawls just roaming around in frigates as well, or Tech 1 cruisers, and just going around 0-0. You'll run to a blob eventually. The mass reduction works only for Hictors. Mass reduction for the bubble. When you activate the bubble, it gives you increased mass, so that you're slow as shit. What ship are you flying? The ship I am flying, Adrian, is the Saber. It is the Tech 2 destroyer. It is the Saber interdictor. It is the best for gate camping and just kind of doing shenanigans by yourself. If you're doing roaming, like roaming for an interdictor, you're going to want a Heretic or a flycatcher because missiles and the ability for missiles to project damage. Let's see. Pale, if you have an H1Z1 question, shoot, buddy. I'll answer it. I won't discriminate. This Newbie Tuesday. It doesn't have to be Eve Newbie Tuesday. 100% Eve Newbie Tuesday. I can't hear Laz. You should be able to hear me. If you can't, I'm sorry.
Yeah, you sound fine.
Would you recommend the Hictor over a normal interdictor for smaller gang fleets? No. It depends. The Hictor's going to be fat and slow. And for a smaller gang fleet, you're going to want something nimble. So I would definitely, absolutely, 100% go for either a Heretic or a Saber for small gang PvP. Count Lagula for the 2 months of resubs. Everyone, make sure you get a TMC TV lick and get a beard lick in the chat for that resub. I need to fix my shout out so that it announces resubs.
We need Hypno Kit in here.
Yeah, well, it only does new subs. I got to figure out how to get it to do it for resubs as well. Let's see. Like I said, guys, you have questions, pop them in chat, guys. Pop them in chat so I can answer them for you. Oh shit, I'm shooting your stupid ship that is too strong. Wait, who are you shooting? My ship or are you shooting someone's ship?
Shooting Penguin's carrier.
Oh, the Hick bubble reduces mass. Okay. Sorry, I didn't. Thank you for the correction. I thought it was the opposite, though. I don't remember the name of the module.
Well, I did have one while we have a momentary lull. Is the bubble launcher on the dictor, can that be overheated? Does it provide any advantage if overheated?
I don't think it can, actually.
Okay, so it is
oh,
what
nope,
it is.
I lied. It can be.
Ooh, what happens when it's overheated then? Longer duration, I would suppose? Or?
Yeah, rate of fire. Gets increased rate of fire. So you can launch your bubbles quicker. Which is good, like if you're warping into a fleet and you basically know you're gonna certain death, just overheat and rapid fire them bitches off. So let's see, the eruption field generator here. So it gets negative 90% velocity bonus to prop modules. Okay, negative 80% mass modifier. You're right. I was thinking the velocity modifier was actually the penalty. It was the mass penalty. I thought they just jacked up your mass, which is why you slowed down. Rip me. Gave the wrong information. Sorry guys. Thank you for the clarification. 4 days till dictors, but delaying it for Hecate. Yes. The Hecate should be pretty good. I think I have every single Tech 3 destroyer at level 5 now that's been released.
Oh, we all know you have every skill in the game at level 5, pretty much.
Oh, on the test server I did because not anymore. I think if they'd done a mirror recently, I lost it.
Oh, that had to be nice.
Did you see the Galente Tech 3 destroyer? Yes, it's going to be super good. I can't wait. Is it hard to get into the Imperium? No. I am death. To get into the Imperium, you can actually join Karma Fleet, which on stream with us is actually a Karma Fleet officer. So we are, or not we, but Karma Fleet is a new player organization that is designed around helping new players and getting them into the game in 0-0, and just kind of using the wealth of knowledge that has been compiled by Goonswarm Federation over the years and years of our existence.
And we're incredibly approachable. Really, all I would do is just look up the corporation Karma Fleet in-game. It's one word. And in the description is all the information you need to get to know us a little better. We have a public channel where you can chat with us. Yeah.
All right.
And the public channel's linked right there on the stream. Beautiful.
Your thoughts on the Tyrannus or Ares frigs for 1v1s and roams? The Tyrannus has been, like, the Tyrannus was my favorite frig when I first started playing the game, because, like, literally, if you've ever watched my streams, I will, like, I get nerd boners for blasters. Blasters are my favorite ships and favorite weapon systems in the game. Because,
mine too.
Because there's no, like, you get into someone's face and just deck them with blasters. It's fucking glorious. I'm so excited right now for blasters. But yeah, the Tyrannus, because you can go Railgun Tyrannus or Blaster Tyrannus, they're both really good. I've never actually flown the Ares. The Ares gets the point range bonus. Alright, you got any more questions for me, Mooses?
No, actually, you have ran through my list, and like I said, I'll be updating every note I took on the Goonfleet forums, because this is, man, I've learned so much about dictors today.
Good. I felt like I could have done a little bit better, like, demonstrations, but like I said, I'm rusty and rip. But the delay bubble thing is pretty good, and I can.
Oh no, we got it. We got it.
I can write out a guide on how to do that for people who didn't really understand it from me failing at it. But basically, you decloak bubble when they're unsuspecting, not knowing that you're cloaked on the gate. You charge them with the overheated scram and web and WD, and you decloak them because they weren't able to NOD cloak trick because they didn't realize you're on the gate. Apparently, Karma uses mumble. Basically all the major alliances that are good at the game uses mumble because of the channel hierarchy system.
Yeah, it makes TeamSpeak 3 look just awful, generally.
And
plus, the sound quality is a lot better.
Black Bubble, I'm looking at the video now. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, thank you, Fred Reich there. I had a lot of fun seeing Burnhamar. It was a blast.
You guys give me 1 second. I'll pull this on the screen so you can see it. Bubble immune warp and dock range testing. Alright, so the bubble's up. Alright, we're getting bored of this. Um, that looks like a bug in this video. It looks like a bug because what? Let me show you. Hold 1 second. All right, let me pause this video. So, guys, this looks like a bug because the way they're doing this is he's not warping himself, and which means the game isn't calculating his position when it should be. Typically, when you fleet warp, it should be taking into account his ship's position, but because his warp is bisected by the bubble, which he should not be able to warp through to that point through the bubble. But if you look at the dictor, actually the dictor is on him at 0. Never mind that. What? Yeah, it's just a bug.
Yeah, that's what it's looking like.
But they're also not warping to the station, they're warping to a bookmark, so I'm not sure if the bookmark has something to do with it or not.
Hey, how's it going, everyone?
Oh. Alright, more questions. It was a complete last Kilborg green for many months after that. I don't remember what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about. Kilborg green. Kilborg green's always good. That's a slow ship. Well, it's a carrier. The carrier's slow. Do you still have to work for your pieces, or have you figured out by now how to be filthy space rich? I'm space poor. I've got a lot of space assets, but I'm space poor. I use the Alliance wallet whenever I need money, unfortunately. I mooch from the Alliance.
That is the key to being space rich.
Yeah. Ladders, hello old friend from my ex-gooning. Do you remember there was an online site where you could check you fly like Eve kill, but more shorter summary? Shorter summary. Like, what do you mean? What do you mean, like information regarding the ship? How?
Is he talking about the eve-skilltracker.com site? That one lets you, like, share an API, and it'll spit out a list of everything you can do. I'll give a link. Maybe he's thinking of that. Oh, whoops, Laz, you might want to give me permission to post links. I just got a warning. The bot's gonna get me. Ah, there it is. Thank you.
Yeah, there you go. I also allowed you. You can post one link and I won't block it.
Thank you, Wookie Bear.
All right. So let's keep going. Let's see. Quick question. Skill tracker info manual. I've never seen that website before. I'll check it out later. Last quick question. Is it worth it for me to buy a super holder and train that up to be a super focused super tune?
Don't say tune. No, I'm kidding.
I was reading the question. I even hesitated on it. I almost didn't say it.
No, I was talking to him, not you.
If you, I mean, supers right now are kind of best left unsubbed. So if you want to train up a super holder into a super pilot, then definitely, then I would definitely recommend that. That way you have multiple pilots, and you could also use that to kind of split fatigue. So if you need to travel somewhere really quickly, if you have two trained super pilots, you can actually use them to split the fatigue and keep jumping. All right. Get anything else for me, Mooses?
No, you have ran through, like, I just appreciate you being so patient with me with that many dictor questions. Like,
Absolutely, man. Like, like I said, guys, this is what Newbie Tuesday is about. You have any questions, you ask them. But guys, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. Unless you have another question, guys, we're going to give you 2 minutes. I'm going to run to the restroom real quick, and that means by the time I get back from the restroom, if there's no more questions, we'll go ahead and wind it down. So the timer starts now.
I'll entertain whoever decided to ask a question about how Coffee's doing. For those of you who aren't familiar, Coffee is my co-FC. She is a stray cat that someone rescued, was found outside all starving and not in a good place, and we took her in.
One second. The Karma Fleet public channel is just KF_public, right?
KF_public, right. And my reward for rescuing that cat is now every time if my fleet gets over, say, 100, 150 people, that cat will sit in my lap or sit close to me and scream and meow as loud as she possibly can in order to thank me.
Where is it?
So it's very enjoyable.
I forgot how to link channels that I'm in.
Oh, just find it and then drag and drop from your channels to somewhere in game.
Yeah.
It'll be player channels or my channels or something.
I see my channel, but it's not showing. Yeah, KF. Maybe I need to reload it.
I can here. Actually, you know what I'll do? I will combo you and link it to you.
Actually, I'm just going to drag you into this combo, and that way you can do it.
That'll work.
Because I really gotta pee. Oops. Where are the invite to? There we go. Alright, be right back.
Got it. All right, whoever needed that channel, I am getting that dragged to you right now. 1 second. I'm having to remember how to use the stupid drag and drop a channel. I think I found it. Player channels. Thank you, MCHG. You are correct. There it is. It's linked to you, James. You should be set. And for any of you others who are curious about Karma Fleet, all you need to do is click on the channels button in game. It's the third icon down on the top left. And join KF_public. And that's all you need to do. Yeah, FC's using actual in-game chat's a little weird. I swear, now that I've become a director, it's my ability to use the game client has just slowly declined. Soon I'll win and I won't even have to log in. That's the goal. So, guys, while Laz is AFK, did anyone else have any questions for him? Let's line up a couple more. Otherwise, it looks like he will be standing the stream down. So get those last second questions in if you have them. Any ship requirements for Karma Fleet, Pigface? Assuming that's what you're asking. Oh, yeah, to join Karma Fleet? No, there are no requirements whatsoever. You could be 5 minutes old and have just created a pilot and could be your first time in EVE, or you could have, 5 billion skill points and be, the top elite PvPer. Does not matter. What flavor vape do I have right now? I am vaping a Cool Beans Coffee Cappuccino from vaporbeast.com. That sounds like it would be sweet, but actually it just has a really nice, espresso bite to it. It tastes like fresh brewed espresso. It's freaking awesome.
All right, I'm back.
Perfect time. Nope. We just, I answered a couple random questions and kept folks entertained. And Pigface had a question about requirements for joining Karma Fleet. I think we answered that. And I let them know if they had any more questions for you. Now's the time. And I didn't see anything. I'm scrolling to check.
Someone asked me for the video of me raging earlier. I'm looking for it now.
I've seen that one linked around a few times. See if I have it in my history. Hang on.
The fight happened in Y-2 on the ZXB gate.
I don't have it in my history on this system.
Let's say I'll find it. Keep talking while I scroll through forums.
Yes, Karma Fleet is only spies. We definitely have over 9,000 spies. All your spies are welcome. Let's see, Drake Design's my second favorite. I'd love to see it come back. Yeah, like Laz was saying earlier, with the new missile modules and balances to make firewalling less effective and that sort of thing, it's, you know, don't quote us. We shouldn't say it, but we might actually see the Drake become viable again, which is frightening. Karma Fleet down to 73% spies, correct? Yeah. The CEO of Karma Fleet actually started out as a spy and ended up liking being with the Goon Swarm so much that it just kind of stuck. So we've always had a pretty open policy towards spies from any walk of life. But be warned, you'll end up liking it so much you'll probably end up just staying. Let's see, your alt spies from E-Uni, welcome. Yeah, pretty much anyone except BL is welcome, is generally our rule of thumb. Heard a rumor changes to SOV is try to break up large SOV holders. Is that true? I don't know. I've noticed a couple of the recent CCP releases and the way they've worded some things seems to indicate maybe that's what they're looking for. I know that we're probably going to see more small gang PvP. I don't personally see these changes breaking up large alliances, but I think you might see a continuation of what you've seen now with Goon Swarm and other large SOV holders, which is consolidating their empires a bit, ditching their renters, and moving down to a lower number of systems because more active use is going to be required. Wookie Bear's got it right. We break up large SOV holders, not CCP. Ah, so well said.
All right. So I see your render also asked a question. Thoughts on Amari and Dictors and Hictors?
I missed that one.
Yeah, the Amarian Hick, the Devoter, is one of the best Devoters because it has a huge tank, an armor tank, etc. The Heretic is one of the best Dictors. I think I would rank it overall. I'd rank it number 1 because it's good for like solo PvP with its rockets and missiles, but it's also the best fleet combat Dictor because it's the cheapest and it can fit the most tank, as well as probes and everything else. So Amara is super good when it comes to Dicks and Hicks. Alright. So before we get into a super long SOV discussion, guys, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. Thank you, Moses. God damn it!
Moses now, it's okay. Everyone does it.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Moses, for coming on, buddy. It was awesome having you, and I really loved having so many questions shot at me. I love answering questions.
Man, thanks for having me. It was a blast.
Yeah. But like I said, guys, if you have any questions, go ahead and send me an email or hit me up on Twitter at Laztel, Laztel, and I'll get them answered for you. But guys, I will be back on streaming tomorrow night. Tomorrow night we'll be playing some H1Z1, maybe some Battle Royale, maybe some real survival. I'm not sure yet. But make sure you tune in for that. And then Thursday we're streaming some World of Warships. So
I'll see you in H1Z1.
Yes. Then also, which I almost forgot to mention, Saturday, guys. Saturday we'll have Mooses. I almost said fucking Moses again.
You got it.
I know. So Saturday, Mooses, which I'll probably call Moses throughout the entire meta show, will be on the meta show with myself and the Matani, and it should be pretty interesting for our July 4th meta show. So if you're home for that, check it out. If not, you have a happy 4th of July if you're in the U.S. But with that, we'll see you guys tomorrow for H1Z1, and you have a good night.
Thanks again, Laz. Have a good night.
Thanks, man.